Hey, hey, hey. What's going on, y'all? Mama Chief. Great continuation. Back at it. I got something on my mind. I saw something today. Kind of got a little triggered.
Jetta
It's
received a
a
five-star
lot of
overall
stuff
safety
going
rating, so
on,
few stars.
y'all. So, I just wanted to come on for a minute. Y'all gonna have to excuse. Hey, what's going on? You see me? Hey, Brown Looker, what's going on? I'm finna get on my emails and holler at you. Chief Crazy Overstanding, what's going on, love? Thank y'all for jumping in with me. I'm finna show y'all some stuff. Just want to share some stuff. Y'all know how Mama Chief feels. Y'all rock with me, huh? Rock with me, y'all. Rock with me. Uh, I'm up and at it, y'all. I'm up and at it. Let's see here. I want to fast forward with
And we
this.
could also say it has a five-star interior.
I want to get
don't
to
think so.
this,
Okay.
and I want to show y'all some stuff that's going on I found today. Great continuation, y'all. Did y'all restore for this resurrection so we can get this work in? That's what I'm talking about. Let's get it. Let's get it. Oh, wait a minute. I won't go too far. I want to get it right there. Let's go right here.
I'm sure some of them with the public can do better than that. This could literally end all pollution.
Oh, is that too loud, you guys? Let's see. I want to make sure y'all can hear this clearly. Is that clear? Brown, look, give me a one if y'all can hear that.
They have basically and stage an evening.
Get a one if that's clear. Is it too loud? It's clear.
You good guy in your eyes.
Okay, check this out, y'all. This the playbook. Playbook came to Mama Chief to say him. Let's check this out.
Tesla car would have to be plugged in. That existed in 1920s. Nikola Tesla had one. These folks, the world was actually operated. Nominate stuff. No. It's essentially internet let president control the signal or the Congress. The big corporate media, left, right, center, all of it. It's corrupt. You convince all of it is corrupt. Absolutely corrupt. And the proof of it is so a couple months ago, I watched a documentary called The Lost Century. Blown away by it. First time I heard about Invention Secrecy Act of 1951. I told my wife, baby, you got to watch it. Then I told my son, you got to watch it. I told everybody, you got to watch this documentary. 6,000 patents that were protected by this senator called John Sparkman. It went into effect in 1952. Somehow, some way, that year they chose to nominate him on the Democratic Party as the vice president. November 1st, we test the biggest nuclear test at the time that was 700 times more powerful than the one we dropped in Hiroshima. November 5th was election.
We ain't never had an atomic bomb,
Stephen
y'all.
Greer, I said, hey, man, I know we did a podcast 4 years ago. We got to do another one because I got a whole different thing I want to talk to you about. He came on. We had a 2.5-hour conversation together. He told me about the fact that the government has access to technology to teleport. You know, teleportation we hear about in movies and sci-fi and all this stuff. Says, nah, they've had access to it for a while. Told a time about an encounter that George H.W. Bush Sr. had with President Bill Clinton, telling him what to stop talking about and not even look into. The private conversation he had with Barry Goldwater.
Remember the letter that they got when they went to his funeral, Daddy Bush funeral? Remember that, right?
This project he's been working on.
Keep all this in mind, y'all. Don't let Mandela effect get your mind off of what has happened to us.
Anyways, I don't want to take anything away from this. You will be fascinated by this conversation, especially if you are a capitalist, if you have a family, and you want to find a way to preserve this great, world we're living in, right? Earth, and you want it to be around. You want to find a rid of power players that are controlling all the good things that could potentially happen to you and I for the future. You're going to want to watch this thing in its entirety, and you'll thank me at the end of the podcast. Having said that, here's Dr. Stephen Greer.
Did you ever think you would make it? I feel I'm supposed to take me victory. I know this life meant for me. Yeah, why would you bet on Goliath when we got Black David?
Shout out to PBD Podcast for putting this on. Shout out to PD
So the last
Podcast.
time we were
Hope I
together
said that right.
was May of 2020, which is a little over 4 years ago, 4 years and a month.
Yep.
And it was a
Y'all remember
fascinating
where you was
conversation.
4
Millions of
years
people
ago,
watched it. It
right?
was great. We talked about aliens.
Yeah.
We talked about your encounters with aliens, experiences, what you've done. Obviously, a doctor, scientist, the things you've worked on. I even think your dad, was he working on the certain responsibilities with the atomic for the government? What was your dad's?
No, it was my uncle helped design the lunar module.
The lunar,
The thing
that's
that
right, your
landed
uncle.
on the moon the first
Right,
time with
right.
Neil Armstrong.
So
Yeah.
this is in your genes. You've been interested in this for a while. And then recently, I was late to this. 2 months ago, I watched The Lost Century, right? And How to Reclaim It. A documentary they did that I think came out in 2023, if I'm not mistaken, right? It came out last year. I watched it, and then I was blown away by the Invention Secrecy Act. And I went down a rabbit hole.
Invention
And I wanted to
Secrecy
find out
Act.
who wrote this bill
Mhm.
and what happened to the guy
It's
that
a
wrote it.
bill.
The guy that wrote the bill, you know who he is, the John Sparksman, I think his name is, or something like that. You know, he ends up becoming the nominee for the Democratic vice presidential candidate of 1952,
Mhm.
exactly the year they wrote the bill, and they're holding on to 6,000 patents. And then I had my wife watch
But
it,
they
and
ain't
I had my
create
son
none of
watch it. He's
this.
here right now. He just
But they
mentioned a few
holding
minutes
on to
ago. And
6,000
I think the
patents.
world needs to know about this. And that's when I said, I think we need to do part two. And I'm glad you said yes.
Happy to be here.
Yeah, so-
you do a great show.
So let's start off with that. I mean, I got a lot of things I want to go through with you, but I want to start off with that. To the average person, when I ask them, have you heard of the Invention Secrecy Act? When I tell you 99% say, I've never heard of it, I'm being friendly. Because 100% people are like, what is the Invention Secrecy Act of 1951? Can you tell the
Woo,
audience
child.
what is the Invention Secrecy Act of 1951, who was behind it, and
Secrecy
why?
Act.
Well, it actually became an offshoot of the projects from the 40s dealing with energy and technology and propulsion systems that, if they were disclosed, would be the immediate replacement of oil, gas, coal, surface transportation.
You hear
public
that, don't you?
utilities. Well, in today's dollars,
This
you're
is
talking
why.
probably over $1,000 trillion. So what most people don't realize is that around between 1945 and 1954 was the heyday of electromagnetic engineering dealing with energy and propulsion. And it was from two sources, research that had been done in the late 1800s and early 20th century, and even things that people call anti-gravity, not the correct scientific term, but let's just go with that. It's really gravity control.
Hmm.
Those experiments
Gravity
started in the late
control,
20s with T.
okay.
Townsend Brown and the Pulaski-Frost experiment in Germany, and where very high voltage systems would cause objects to lift and basically have mass cancellation and look like they're defying gravity and levitate.
It's the G engines you're talking
Yep,
about.
yep. And but that was earlier. I mean, that was later. This is 20s. But those began to be more and more classified. So T. Townsend Brown's work became some of the core founding for what's called the RAND Corporation in Ventura,
The
California.
RAND
But
Corporation.
those got populated with the research from retrieving extraterrestrial vehicles in the mid 40s and 50s.
Extraterrestrial vehicles. Are you listening to what he's
I have a
saying,
document
y'all?
just
I know
released
there were two of y'all in here, but thank you for being
in our
here.
disclosure
We're
product
going to get this,
intelligence.
y'all.
But it describes
We
in
gotta
one of
get
the
this.
Canadian top secret documents that a top secret team was working
Canadian
on this in
top
1950, and the work they were doing surpassed the secrecy of the development of the hydrogen bomb, the ultimate doomsday weapon. You can imagine. Now,
Okay,
this is an
y'all.
authenticated top secret,
This is crazy
document.
to me.
So the punchline of that is there was this technological breakthroughs, both human and in studying objects from outer space, let's say, that came together, the two mighty rivers that became this torrent, but very classified. So they realized that there were too many people stumbling across this, and they created this act to give the government the power that even if you don't apply for a patent, if they learn you have something that they want to seize, all they have to do is issue a national security order on it, and they take it. And this
They
is not a
take it.
conspiracy theory and all that.
That's
It's
what
just
happened in the World's Fair, y'all. They was taking invention.
And I've worked over the years with many people who've had that happen to them, geniuses that have had their work confiscated. And it would be an enormous benefit to humanity, but the super elite, global elite, don't want that out. They didn't want it out in the 50s. And they don't want it out now. So that is the core of the secrecy that some people call UFOs or UAPs. That's really the heart of it.
That's the
The
heart
other
of
thing
it.
is that when I go into a SCIF, a secure compartment information facility where top secret information is exchanged.
Gil, you catching all these
One of the first
words?
things I do, whether
Wow,
it's with the members of Congress or some military people, is to, tell them, see this video that the Pentagon has confirmed is real, this UFO flying off the coast of California, and they got released a few years ago. And I said, just look at that. Forget all the esoteric and alien cachet
out of it.
and
You'll
baggage.
see what
That
it
is an alternative energy and propulsion device, period.
See?
And I said, if you look at how it's moving and the sensors that they put on that thing, both from space and the ship, the big
Thank y'all
battleship
for
out
being
there, and
here.
the jet pilots,
Wow,
flying those
listen.
F-18s, they had no heat signature. And here's the thing.
Crazy
There's no
overstanding.
jets, there's no rockets, and if it was a nuclear power plant, it would be very hot because fission is extremely hot. So how is it doing? How is it moving like that?
This might be boring to somebody, but it's not boring to me.
This is why
I'm
most of
getting
our
what
Air
you know what I'm
Force
saying.
and
I'm
pilots,
getting this
when they encounter
understanding
these, they
of
immediately
what's
assume
really
all
going
them are
on
aliens
around here.
or
Thank
extraterrestrial.
you,
When in
Brown Cooker,
reality,
for
I'd say
being appreciative to
78%
what we
of
really
them are
need.
ours.
Thank you, sweetheart.
Highly classified,
That's dope.
illegally run covert programs without the oversight of the Congress and the president. So that secrecy has become so embedded. Eisenhower had a pretty good clue about it when he left office, and he said, beware the military-industrial complex. And I remind people he was a 5-star general, right? And a conservative Republican, moderate Republican back then. But he was no enemy of the military. But he warned the dangers to democracy and secrecy because of this. Now, he didn't mention the UFO issue, but he was very much read in, and I can prove that. Our archive goes through that. And he then, by 1957 to 8, was being pushed aside out of those programs. And we actually have an attorney who at the time was a young man in the Army. His testimony we released in this archive, where he says he was in the White House Signal Corps in 1959, 60, before Eisenhower left. And Eisenhower told him that he was being block control over these projects. So these covert programs have been, let's just say, off the leash for most of the last 60
So
years.
I want to ask you this. So I'm going through timeline while you're talking, and I'm making notes here.
Sure.
So Hiroshima happened August 6, 1945.
Right.
Okay. Nagasaki happened August 9th, 1945.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Invention Secrecy Act happened in 1951, which ended up being a law 1952, led by Senator John Sparksman.
Mm-hmm.
Great. And that year, he ends up being nominated as the vice president for the Democratic, nominee. Okay. Then the election that year, that the day we voted on Tuesday, was November 4th of 1952.
Yeah.
3 days prior to that, on November 1st of 1952, is the big explosion that we had, the thermonuclear explosion that took place. Rob, if you can pull this up. Type in hydrogen bomb year. Just type in hydrogen bomb year.
Come on now.
So if you type in hydrogen, can you zoom in there? I just want to read that right there. The U.S. tested the first full-scale thermonuclear device on November 1st of 1952.
Mm-hmm.
The result was an explosion that was equivalent to one produced by more than 10 million tons of TNT.
Mm-hmm.
This was approximately 700 times the power of the uranium bomb dropped in Hiroshima. Stephen, 700. So here's what I'm trying to find out. The time span from August 6th, Hiroshima, August 9th, Nagasaki, Invention Secrecy Act of 1951, 52 becomes in. Then November 1st, we have the hydrogen bomb. November 4th is the election.
Come on, y'all.
Is the reason why they put the Invention Secrecy Act a noble cause? Or was it the fact that people of big industries were afraid that maybe they're about to
Bomb
lose
them too.
some of their control and business that they have. Because there's a part of it that could be like, no, it was noble. We were worried. We wanted to make sure that certain things wouldn't be available to other people, because if they did, what if out there in the free marketplace somebody explodes and messes with this uranium, and then all of a sudden we lose we lose our country, we lose all this stuff. How much do you think was noble? How much do you think it was, hey, you passed this bill, we'll make you the vice president, we can do this? What do you think happened there?
I think it's both. I think for certain there are certain valid national security secrets that are technological that should be kept that way, and I don't have grievance with that. What's terrible is when there are corrupting influences from financial and corporate sectors that then it's the tail wagging the dog of the government of we the people, right? And so my great whatever grandfather was the first prisoner of war in the American Revolution, and my family, my dad was hand-to-hand combat World War II in the Pacific. We look at this. I mean, the people I work with who are the special forces and military, and they look at this and they go, well, if you have a corrupting influence and you have that kind of state power, then you can get into trouble if there isn't proper oversight. And there hasn't been. What I'm trying to say is that between the 50s and now, after Eisenhower got shoved aside, the folks who've been working and keeping these secrets are not necessarily doing it on behalf of the U.S. government or the American people or the world. They're doing it on behalf of their own interests, which are usually financial and global power related. And that is the problem. It's a big problem when no one's minding the store. This is why I've been trying to get Congress to have subpoena power through the House Oversight Committee and the members of Congress I've been meeting with, which we'll get into that. That's just been blocked, by the way. Because without that, you really have a Frankenstein we created in secrecy.
Yeah,
Eisenhower warned us about that really
y'all,
gone
come
crazy.
on.
So yes, there are some valid national security secrets that would be covered by
This is
that.
why we can't
On
trust
the
them.
other hand, it's
Too many
like your
damn
grandmother's
secrets.
skirt. It hides everything, right? And they can hoover up totally legitimate technologies that, for example, you could have an electric car but not have 900 pounds of lithium-ion batteries. You'd have a battery about this big. It would start up a electromagnetic generator pulling energy out of, we can talk about this, what's called the quantum vacuum or zero-point energy field, and you never have to plug the thing in, right? So that
was in there at that time?
That existed in 1920s. Nikola Tesla had one, and we've documented this. Now remember, when Nikola Tesla died in 1943, the FBI went in
When
and
they
seized
killed him, stop playing.
40-some trunks.
Y'all lie too much.
It was 20-some trunks of secret papers.
I hear every
And
lie
I
y'all
have a
tell.
group that's thinking of suing for those. But
Who
those,
still has it? The U.S. government has that, or the military-industrial complex has that?
we don't. This is a good question, because where does this stuff go once it gets hoovered up under the Secrecy Act? And this is a big problem, because you would think, let's make this real for people, right? So back going 1993, it's 31 years. I was asked as a young doctor to come up and brief the director of the CIA for Bill Clinton or James Woolsey. And it's because he and the president had started looking into this issue, the whole UFO issue, all of it. And they had been denied access and blocked and were being lied to.
You're in the room with both of them?
I'm in the room with the CIA director.
Okay.
And my POC, my point of contact to him, who is the head of a military think tank. So I thought, honestly, I mean, you put me under the sodium penalty.
Wake up, everybody! No more sleeping in bed. Get up!
Connections in my family. I had all this
Get up!
And it was just counterintelligence trying to figure out what I knew. It turned out the CIA director was completely blocked. The president had been blocked. And then I found out recently Clinton was threatened. And I have a document that also establishes that from someone who was
I got
with
6
him,
people in my room. Hey, y'all.
that he was personally
Thank you for
threatened
being
if
here.
he looked into this much further.
I woke up like
And
this.
so
Wake up like
I
this
think
every
this
day, y'all.
was my coming of age.
I
To be
got
honest
this
with you,
internet now. Thanks
I
to
was always
OG
interested
Philly.
in UFO and ET
You show me
issue,
how to do it,
sightings
OG,
from my
and I'm
family.
coming
A
into
family
it.
member who designed a
Thank
thing
you
that
so
landed on
very
the moon
much,
with Neil
big
Armstrong.
bro.
And yes, we did go. They just didn't tell us everything that happened. But the CI director was shaken, and he couldn't get access, even with the clearance that a director of CI would have. So there's a parallel illegal black government
Give my
system
love to the
that
family.
I think is mostly corporate. So if you're asking me where the center of power on this is, you know, everyone in Congress and the National Security Council and the president
Hey,
add up to
God is up
anything
in
but
here.
beans compared
Hey,
to
God.
Lockheed
What's up, my
Skunk Works and my
sister?
uncle.
I hope everybody got some
Heslopur,
restoration.
Grumman,
We
Raytheon,
done
and some of
resurrected
these
y'all.
other huge
Got
behemoths
that
that are
spirit, that energy, right? Ready to
but who
make it
have
happen.
highly compartmented operations dealing with this. Now, we actually have the information in a letter from the director, the head of the Lockheed Skunk Works, the top secret aerospace engineering. And it's in the archive. We release this now, both the letter written to him from a friend that his widow gave to us and the reply from Ben Rich. And it says point blank, his friend said, do we have these UFOs? And he says, yes, some are extraterrestrial, many are ours. And he admits they're ours, meaning human made. So people think that technology stands still, but if you're at the threshold in the 20s, 30s, 40s, discovering this area of science, of electromagnetic physics, post-quantum sort of entanglement, we can get into this, it's sort of boring for the general public. But and then you have special access projects that are top secret, but then decide it's so sensitive, we're not going to let the president control this anymore, or the Congress, except for a few devils that they put in there that do control it. So it's a complicated sort of architecture of this secrecy. You have to throw your high school civics book in the trash.
So let me go back to this. Still, I'm stuck on this Invention Secrecy Act.
Great continuation to y'all. Thank you so much for coming in this AM. I got a little triggered on a couple things when I got up this AM. And but this one got my attention more. I was going to go on Sinetta them because hey, Alexis, how you doing, love? Thank you for dropping in with me. Peace and love to you. Yeah, I saw where they was over there talking about the native had never seen any African Americans before. When they first saw the Buffalo Soldiers, that's why they named them Buffalo Soldiers, because they looked like the buffalo. And it was so triggering to me because I got all these Indian records. So they were saying that my people were saying they had never seen nobody that looked like me. So it kind of triggered me, y'all. It kind of triggered me. And so I end up seeing this, talking about all these secrecies, talking about all the things that they've done, all the way to the fact that, like I said, we're going to revisit Cale Gibbs for the last 6 months, because like I say, he's showing all these secrets and how every World's Fair, and understand what I'm saying here, every World's Fair, am I being heard in the room? Y'all give me a one if y'all hearing me good, because I'm sitting back from my PC. Is I'm being projected well in the room? Just the one of y'all. Okay, that's what I'm talking about. So, all of this is just showing us that these people have planned this. They've been bombing us. I mean, they literally was making the bombs right here. Thank you, Brown Look. I appreciate that so much, Alexis. Thank y'all so much. They was making the bombs right here, y'all. Right here in Tennessee. I shared that with y'all last night, and I will share that every day. I want us to realize that all these things that happened was orchestrated here and there. It wasn't like nobody came here without being. This was a master plan, and we have, in order for us to understand what happened, we got to put it together. We got to really unpack that. We cannot be bickering with other people with their ideology. Those that got the same ideology, that's on the same page, is the ones need to be building together, not building with a dis. I'm not gonna be fighting with you every day. That tears my energy. We cannot be tearing our own energy down. We got to protect and guard our energy with everything in us, because that is what it's about. It's about taking your soul, snatching the very life out of you. And these people have the capability of doing that. And they stole it from us. I mean, let's be clear here. We're talking about the people that came here couldn't speak the language that we speak. Talking about we couldn't speak. What? Let's be clear. Let's really get some understanding. And these two pale-skinned Caucasians, Germans, Russian, Bavarians, whoever they be, are telling us. And the man even said, to put it in plain sight, it's what they do. And you won't even realize it and won't believe it or receive it. So this is where we at, y'all. This is why Mama T created this chat and decided I wanted to, be where I could voice mine. I gotta leave my stuff on. And I admonish like OG Philly. I'm gonna roll with him on this. At first I was like, subbing to everybody. But if everybody got a channel, got a station, we need to be busy about putting this here information out, sharing what you find, giving your children a better life than what we had. Because I'm telling you, my life was not that great. I'm living my best life right now. Hey, what's up, Sharon? How you doing, sis? I'm living my best life, y'all. I'm excited. I'm moving in a whole different realm because of the fact that I know more than I knew 30 years ago. And we got to leave this legacy. These devices, I hate them. I hate that we have to use them, but I'm grateful that it's an avenue. And it's a way that I can reach out and I can touch somebody, So I'm honored that y'all here, but I'm going to turn this back on because this is what I came here for. And I want y'all to get what I think we need. We need to know what games was played on the. Oh, yeah, and this is where I was going to. The World's Fair. Think about this, y'all, while y'all watching these people tell us what they doing and what they did. And the name of this is They'll Erase You. They will erase you. Super Elites Invention Secrecy Act. Look up the Secrecy Act. Y'all, when y'all come up in here, it's work up in here. It ain't no time to be coming in here think you're going to sit around, lay around, and just drink, eat pizza, and smoke weed, and play games. Ain't no games over here with Mama Chief. Okay? Let's clean house right now. Wrap your feet out when you come in the door. Greet me. Speak to me. Let me know you're here because I love you. I want to intermingle and talk with you like I'm doing right now. And hey, I got it set up, Philly. I got 2 devices working. No, I'm sorry. I got 3 devices working. Hey, what? Okay. Thank you again, Philly. But think about this, y'all. The World's Fair. First, think about the people that came through Ellis Island, Angel Island, and all these people. They were being brought here. And whoever was bringing them had a plan, just like they bringing them here now. Come on, y'all. Same people did that then doing this now. Right? So here it is. We over here with all these inventions. This man right here just telling us it was all about the invention and the secrecy act that they created with the invention. Because when they came here, all they saw was all these inventions. The only thing they created when they came was the patent office, y'all. With all the inventions that they came upon while we are here doing what we were doing on this side. Right? The World's Fair. Inside the middle, I'm going to show y'all too. Inside the middle of the World's Fair when they said those World's Fair was like a prison, a place for captivity in the middle of the damn fair, y'all. I can't wait to show y'all some of this stuff. Then, wasn't nobody going in there because, you never saw the so-called black people. You never saw the so-called African Americans. All you saw was so-called them, right? So where was the so-called? Because these folks hadn't long got here. So we got documentation to show how they traded places with those clothes, wives, and everything. But in every place where there was a World's Fair, double check me, y'all. Come on, y'all. We got to do some research here. Find your Freeman Bank right next to it. Yaziel, what's up, nephew? Supreme's riding to you. But yeah, great continuation. Y'all know it. But you see what I'm saying? Y'all tie these Freeman's Banks in with these World's Fairs. And you're going to see a lot of missing people and a lot of rich people, poor people becoming rich. That's just one of my theories on this trade in place situation. So we're going to go back to this video, y'all. Come on. Rock with me. Appreciate y'all so much.
From purely a capitalistic standpoint, not even the alien side and all this other stuff that's in there, right? So let's go back to it. So enough energy to, 0 point energy, which we'll get into. Okay, great. And that's Nikola Tesla and what happened to him. And they came and they took the files, God knows how many boxes, and they went to Trump's uncle, Fred Trump's brother, John. They go to him. Hey, is this anything that's a threat if it's leaked to the public? No, nothing to worry about. Great. They still end up keeping it anyways, right? But I'm trying to find out. So if you were to simplify to the audience wants to know, hey, Stephen, what are some of those 6,000 patents that we have, and what industries would they destroy, and how much would our lives improve? For example, one, we have access to being able to produce cars that can run on water, and it puts out of a $5 trillion oil industry out of business overnight. Right. We have the pharmaceutical side to be able to come up and solve cancer tonight. We just have, because if we do the amount of chemotherapy business is a such and such amount of $1 billion industry, we don't want to put that out of business. We have the ability to do it. I want to know, do you know what technologies and patents are in there? I do. Okay, can you share some of them with the public that maybe would be revealing?
Like I can provide that. You go to our archive, and there's a whole file of, I believe, thousands of pages of those that were copied by a man I knew who's passed away named John Benini. And there was a CIA officer who had approached me, but previously had approached him and took him. And it's called the Sajeki file, SCGEKI, the Sajeki. And he was a CIA officer who allowed Mr. Benini to go into a
Bedini or Benini?
Bedini, Bedini, John Benini, and he's passed away. But this CIA officer,
I researched this stuff.
He let him go into a facility where they had confiscated these sort of
inventions. Thank you so much for proper
many
education.
decades.
Always correct.
And they had the patents and file patents. He told John Benini,
right. Thank you so much.
He was trying to recruit him into the agency in a covert program dealing with technologies, because the guy was a genius with electromagnetic engineering. Benini was. And
we're on it. That's what we're here for, y'all. Let me stop this right here.
And so he went and he did.
Yaziel just triggered me. That's what we're here for over here, nephew. We're going to get that work in. Okay? Everybody got to go have their pen and their paper. Everybody going to be doing their business. Come on, we on that business over here. Handle your business. So if you don't handle your business, guess what? Somebody else going to handle you. Believe you me, they going to handle you. So let's work, y'all. Let's work. Appreciate y'all so much for being here. I got 13 people in my room right now. Y'all know I'm excited because, hey, I'm new to this. But I'm true to this, y'all. So Big Dog Philly will always have my gratitude, you know, because out of everybody that knows Mama Chief from way, way back, nobody else will put me on to how to work these little devices. But big up to Big Dog OG Philly and his loved ones, you know, because talk is cheap, but action is real love, man. Ain't never seen him, don't know him, but he got my respect and my honor because I needed to be here, y'all. I needed to be right here, right now, right to this moment. See what I'm saying? And it's possible because one person out of everybody else who said they would did. And that's what I'm talking about. Being and doing. Y'all saw what I put up in there. Being and doing. If you ain't being about your business and doing it, just waking up existing every day. And I refuse to continue to do that. I've had a long time doing that before I found out what the hell they had did to me and my ancestors. So that being said, I love y'all. Thank you for being here. Y'all know my energy is high. I get very excited, y'all know, but I don't like to argue. But I got pushed energy through me. You understand? So thank y'all so much. That's right. Off with their head, nephew. Put an arrow in it. Bull's eye. For real. That's why I had to come over here to where I don't want, I don't, like I always tell y'all, and I think, I don't mean to offend nobody when I say I don't want followers. I don't mean I don't want followers like in this little tic-tac. You know what I'm saying? In these little apps. That's a different thing. But what I say when I mean, I don't want people just think they're going to lay around over here and ain't getting this damn work in. This ain't the rest home. This the place to get busy. So, you know, this what we're gonna be doing over here, y'all. We're gonna be trying to figure out how to counteract what's being done. And if you ain't in commerce, regulating commerce, don't be talking about you no damn Indian. Hey, come to say Indians supposed to be regulating commerce up in Congress with them. Because they came here. We've been here. So we supposed to be the one making sure they keep this shit right. But look what they have now. We don't have a voice in the place because don't nobody speak for us because we got a bunch of black African American niggas. And I don't know none of them. But I'm sure some of them in my family don't get it twisted. Because we got to go back in these records, y'all, and that's what I'm here for. Go back in these records, find out where your family was. Find out what your family did. Because it was a lot of amalgamation. There was a lot of amalgamation going on, you know. But it was more, I'm going to say it was more agreeable than disagreeable. You go back and you look at the time frame. That 1492 stuff don't make no sense to me. But the 1600, late 1500 when they started getting the charters, those are things you want to look at to me, the charters. And the people who was given the charters to come. But other than that, you know, all of this conquering and stuff, I don't see it. I don't see the records that say that in my tree. You know, and I'm looking for them. But I don't see all that old, you know, it looked like it was a lot of stage war type tactic shit because they was bombing us. With no damn wars. They was bombing us in our own land, y'all. Gonna show it to you too. Let's finish this up. I'm just gonna go through it and talk about it.
The CIA officer, Mr.
I don't have no plans for it.
Eventually was told no, I'm not going to join your operation. But Bedini had kept a copy of those files, which members of my team digitized.
So the CIA person didn't know that he took those files.
He didn't know he kept a copy. He thought he got them all back. And now we've released them. They were in an encrypted CD, I believe, and the encryption's been removed.
Expose it, yeah, expose that, yeah, exactly. Okay, we've been checking out some of these words too, right? Explosion, it. Time I saw it, all I could think about was, like I said, the explosion. Um, everybody, have everybody reviewed the secret city of Oak Ridge, Tennessee yet? Have anybody checked, Google that and checked those pictures and those photos out? Those, you can even see the bombings over there where they tore down some of the mass buildings. You know, it's been said that we had beautiful buildings and this, that, and other, right? You know, but yeah, they cleared space to do what they did to make this place to make these bombs in order to keep it a secret. The people who was even making them didn't even know what they was making. That's how serious this secret was. So y'all, I need for y'all. I'm gonna show it too. I'm gonna share it with y'all. But I need for y'all to be diligent to getting this information, because see, me saying it to you and you really seeing it for your own self is gonna be the impact. Because that's why I'm furious, y'all. That's why I'm as mad. I mean, that's why I'm on it, like I'm on it, y'all, and I'm trying to get y'all to see, because we can't keep speculating. We can't keep arguing with people. Cause hell, they don't know. Everybody reading books, reading somebody's books. You know, like I said, I got book stories about my family, but it'll be a nigga, one of them niggas, will come and tell me, "Oh, well, how you know that's true?" Well, how you know any of that shit true that you read, right? But it's what you're gonna take and what you're gonna manifest and make it, do what it do. So my facts of my family is just as real as talking about any of these folks. Because I know for a fact, all of these actors, every one of them was actors. And they all played more than one position in this bullshit. So when we understand the players, the game, we'll understand what's being played on us, because we're the biggest damn pieces of the puzzle and the game. And when we stand up and get this board off our back, game is really over. But until then, that's why there's only gonna be a few of us, y'all. So I appreciate Lem. See, that Lem, I was on here, Lem is very significant to me, y'all. That's when my oldest grandson was murdered. And I will always, when I see 11 is very powerful to me. I was born on the 11th. You know what I'm saying? So when I tell you, just 11 people in here can make a difference in the world if we move accordingly to the fact of the understanding that we'll have to delegate, because we are the ones supposed to be doing delegation. We're the ones supposed to be giving the authorities on these things. But no, we're sitting here letting somebody else beat us. We got to stop letting other people beat us. I mean, it's over. When is enough enough? That's all I'm saying. When are we going to just say, listen, dude, I ain't got time to bicker with you because I'm over here dealing with these folks who is being me. See, I ain't got time to argue with a nigga trying to tell me who I ain't, when I got folks over there being me, getting what I supposed to have. That's bullshit. What the number is? Let me see what you get. What you did. Oh, okay. Good numbers. Let me tell you. When you see, I told y'all to go and look at Kale by yourself. So when you'll see, when I bring it to you, you'll see what I'm talking about. A calendar. That you know how, I ain't even watching all these movies, but they been showing it. That Darth Vader, mask. You know what I'm talking about? How it made, y'all watch that stuff. I did. But Right okay again, you'll see it. They had this thing where they was burning, literally burning our people. And they say that's how they know it's 666. What is it? 6 electrons. What is it? Huh? That's how they know that everything that's in the periodic table is in us. How they know? Because they've been studying us. They German doctors, Russian doctors, which they under name is really Bavarian. Okay? They've been here a long time. That's why I said those are Russian Germans that have been in Tennessee in the secret city. So is that really Germany over there? You see what I'm saying? And then they name, see, because of the confusion, they want to double everything, give us a double of everything. Told you. All these had 2 actors. All of them, every one of them. And Kel shows it, man. That's why I say I follow information. And my energy and my spirit lead me to pull out these things that I need for my life. So I'm sharing them. I'm not trying to tell nobody to believe nothing. And by all means, especially religion. You know what I'm saying? We're not on religion, but we on righteousness, truth, you know. You know what I'm saying? On righteousness and truth. And so we know that we have been tricked by 3 religions. I'm going to say it. It's 3 religions. And I'm going to say the first one is Islam. The next one is Judaism. And the last one is Christianity. In that order. In that order. And, you know, I don't think, man, one of them is, you know, what my ancestors had nothing to do with. So, but I do reverence with everything that's in me. Absolutely, Giselle. Everything in me, I reverence the spirit of my great ancestors and the spirit that they reverenced when they knew before they was tricked and fooled into the bullshit that we're in now. You know? And wherever I can get the truth at, y'all, I'm going to say this every time. I want it. Because I was born for this. And I wasn't born to go out a fool and not know. Because I asked to know what all this means. I ain't know it was going to get this deep, though, y'all. I did not know it was going to go like this. But I asked for this. And so I've been on a journey a long time to know. And so let's roll, y'all. Let's go. Have a fantastic voyage on your journey. That's another one of my sayings to my people. Have yourself a fantastic voyage. People talk about fun, but I don't know fun. All I know is I done found out that something happened to a lot of my people. And when I think about the heads and the bones that I seen them standing on top of, I know y'all seen that picture. It's pictures of them standing on real heads and bones. And it said that they took those very bones and made diamonds out of them. Yeah. So, and buried them, put them in, yeah, all kind of stuff, man. You got to see some of this stuff to be as furious, I guess, as I am to feel like, okay, it's time for us to take our place. It's too much land here for us to just be scattered out here, paying somebody rent, paying somebody this, when we can have our own territory with all of us with the same like-mindedness. Fuck that. I don't need to be with a whole bunch of people that's all different and doing different things. You know? So just spewing my stuff today because I desire to be on land with the whole community. I got 220 acres of land. Hello. Hi, Shanine. How are you, darling? Welcome. Thank you for dropping in with me. Shaq up in here. You said, Shaq, where is Shaq? Shaq, you in here with me? I sent you the link. Okay. If you in here, Shaq, what's up? I didn't see you, baby. But yeah, y'all, I got 220 acres of land, and I'm going to invite all y'all. Let's make it happen. Ain't nothing on it for as I know. I'm still trying to. I'm slow by doing things because I'm, don't have transportation right now. But at the same time, the land been there. My great granddaddy and two of his brothers bought this land, and it's fee simple. Okay, that means no tax. That means it can't be taken, and it's heir property. So I know some of y'all in here on my family. I mean, it's a project. If we don't start somewhere, y'all, we ain't gonna never do a damn thing but bicker, complain. Say somebody took some. How somebody took something you want it? Nobody took nothing. Don't nobody take you to jail. Don't nobody do nothing to us. We do it to ourselves because of lack of knowledge. And I'm over here to try to help, bridge the gap on some of that, y'all. We just gotta work with each other, okay? Work with each other. Be a little patient with each other. So over here, what? Over here we got. I cut the TV off, y'all. I gotta come back up. Over here, I don't want to argue with nobody, y'all. So, like I said, I gotta figure out how to do my administrative. Okay, OG, if you still here, you hear me? Please, show me how to do the what you call them when you give people the ranches or whatever, so that I can acknowledge my people and they can be in the chat and do what they do. Yeah, let me go back to this video, you guys, because I messed up. But I am so honored that y'all hanging out with me. Aboriginal Power is on, you guys. Shout out to Aboriginal Power, Native American culture versus American Indian culture. Which are you? Okay. If you ain't got your records, you don't know what the hell. Excuse me. You know what your grandmama told you, but the records beats conversation. You ain't got to talk about it. Be about it. That's how that's how I feel. I feel like a lot of people is talking, a lot of people saying a lot of things, but they can't validate it with records. Or, they can't say, well, look, this is this. I mean, we all could go right now to the Indian over there and get our card. Why the hell aren't we? But they'll say they want it. We can go over there right now and move half of those people out the way by our record. Because at this junction, it's time to put your blood on the table. This is where the DNA come in. Come on, let's rock. But no, ain't nobody standing on them in them shoes, 10 toes down. But everybody 10 toes down, feather in the head, but ain't nobody doing no real Indian business. But I ain't gonna be mad at those that do. Oh, they over there being native. No, they over there being who the hell they supposed to be. You just over here arguing on YouTube with some Pan-Africans that's telling you you're African. It's a waste of damn time to me. So, yeah, being as old as I am and seeing it, it frustrates me to the teeth. So that's why I'm over here, to try and break the monopoly, and because everybody don't want to be entertained or arguing or fussing. Some people do want solutions and action. Absolutely, Shanine. I mean, and that's what I'm talking about. The people that sent me an email last night, y'all, I know I woke up on this. So we're gonna talk. We're gonna talk. Everybody that contacts me, we're gonna communicate. But we're gonna communicate offline. This is the way for me to reach you, to meet you, and to greet you. Absolutely. Absolutely. That's what I'm talking about. So, hey, you guys, I appreciate y'all much, for real, for real. So, who else? Is anybody else on? Shout out to Sister Bethy. Yeah, shout out to Aboriginal TV, my nephew. Yeah, he was on it on one this morning, this AM. Uh, okay, I'm going back to where we was, y'all. I was just checking to see who's on so I can let y'all know. Oh, Top Cat even on. Shout out to Top Cat. And I know my boy Kelly is coming on too. That's what I wanted to do, set up to be there for him to do live. But I saw this, so I said, well, okay, I'm gonna go with this. All right, can we go back?
If you're thinking of selling your home soon, you don't want to miss out on this.
Commercial, y'all.
Not only will I buy your house fast,
I want to know, do you know what technologies
Yeah,
and patents are in there?
I do.
Okay, can you share some of them with the
I
public?
can do better than that. And this would literally end all pollution on Earth. It would also end poverty.
Pollution on the earth.
This is a big announcement. With this
Is that too loud, y'all? Is it all right?
Their
Let me know.
plan is to create to try to unite the world and Independence Day, the movie, and sort of a military global.
Yeah. Is that too loud? You guys let me know.
They can but basically and stage an alien attack.
What do you think about
Wow.
Elon Musk? You see, like Nikola Tesla, is he a good guy in your eyes?
If he did research,
Somebody tell me how to
he
sound.
would be making a fake Tesla. The real Tesla car would have to be plugged in. That existed in 1920s. Nikola Tesla had one. These folks, the world was actually operated before.
Nominates him.
Nobody. It's so simple. We're not going to let the president control the city or the
It's
Congress.
clear. Good
Big
there, Brown. Look
corporate
good
media,
looking out.
right, center, all of
All right, y'all.
You convince all of this.
absolutely. And
It's low for you, Alexa. You gotta turn your volume up. It's very, very loud.
So a couple months ago, I watched this documentary called The Lost Century. Blown away by it. First time I heard about Invention Secrecy Act of 1951. I told my wife, baby, you got to watch it. Then I told my son, you got to watch it. I told everybody, you got to watch this documentary. 6,000 patents that were
and
Fortune 50 chairperson that's trying to come forward.
yeah, former chairman.
Yeah,
He's getting up there. He's about 79 or 80.
He's still active. Oh, former chairman.
But he has
Okay,
the documents
great.
and the information. He wants to come forward with them. But you know, when he reached out to me last year, they threatened him and his family and his grandchildren.
Is he a money guy? Is he financially free?
Oh, sure. I mean,
So
A
how do
money
they
guy,
threaten them? What do they say? How do
financially
they threaten
free.
them?
I wonder what that
What are you
means,
gonna do
y'all.
no,
We gotta research some of this stuff. You see?
So who calls a person like that?
It might be in
really
law.
spooky people. I've had them appear in my life and threaten me and say buzz off. But you know, I've had 4 people on my team killed.
4 people in your team killed.
I have. And you know, when Mr. Grush was asked about this at the House Oversight hearing last year, he said yes. And because when Mr. Grush was working with people that I had been briefing to give information so he could begin to drill down on this. But he was not a direct whistleblower witness. He's called a whistleblower, but he's not. He didn't directly deal with the technology or the programs. He was investigating them on behalf of folks that I was given information to tell them where to go. Like I told them exactly where to go in the high desert of California to find this stuff. So, but you know, someone asked. One of the members of the committee, I think it was Congressman Burchett, who I've been working with, asked, "Well, have people been killed?" And of course, a few months earlier, I think it was January of last year, there was a peripheral person on that team who was killed because he stuck his nose in the wrong place. The people are very naive, frankly, if they don't think this kind of corrupt power. Think of the worst thing you've ever heard about the mafia or the mob on steroids.
Wow.
Well, let's stay on that.
That's what you're doing.
So,
y'all.
folks, 4 people that were killed on your team, they're public. Like what? How were they killed? How recent was it?
Oh, this goes back in the 90s.
What were you talking about when that? What were they talking about? Or digging that cost them their lives?
They were deep cover sources giving me information.
So they had jobs
before I had good security in place. And I didn't have what I have in place now, which I call.
Can you say what they did for a living or no?
Well, there were various. Well, one was a military naval intelligence guy, one was CIA, and one was an assistant of mine.
It was an assistant of yours.
She was a good friend.
How did he get killed? How did she get killed?
It was basically a chemical weapon.
Oh my
It
goodness.
was induced a very aggressive cancer very quickly.
Oh my
And, you know,
Wait,
special
hold it.
agent and shit.
Hold it. Did y'all hear that? Now, think about this. That means, chat, what's up? What's up? How you doing, love? You want the link? You let me know. Anybody think, y'all let me know, because, you know, y'all welcome. And if it get full, we end up paying for it, and we can, you know, we can work it out. But did y'all hear that? So what about all this here so-called cancer? We know they depleted our bodies by depleting the soil and the food, all the way down to now GMO food. Nothing is healthy. The whole body is, you know, we're not living off of nothing but pure essence of the goodness that is within us. The majority of us who are striving and staying off a lot of this bullshit they gave us, right? Well, how many 12 of us up in here probably don't eat a lot of garbage? I mean, I'm saying this is the energy I'm on, and I know I'm going to draw what I need for us to do what we all need, okay? Listen. Cancer quickly came up on that woman. So it would be safe to say all this cancer that everybody getting. That's why they keep telling you they want you to take all these tests. That's why everybody end up getting free health care, because they know they don't mess everybody up. They know everybody gonna have to end up at their hospital. You're gonna be at their hospital when you born. You're gonna be at their hospital facility when you die. You're in their hands every instance of your life if you don't take control of it yourself. I had 14 things wrong with my heart. Now I don't have but one. And the doctor didn't do anything to help me. I did this myself. Right? I did it myself by taking control and realizing that these people right here are trying to take me up out of here. So y'all heard it. And he's up in the high up, and he knows that they got these different warfare these chemical annihilations against us. Here we go.
So we have 150 substances like that.
150 substances to inject cancer into somebody.
Or brush up against someone or do something that will kill them. Yeah.
Brush up against somebody, like there was a movie.
Oh, yeah, I saw that movie too. I saw a movie where somebody just touched somebody and killed them. Hey, Mr. Blue, how you doing, darling? Good to see you. See, I like this, OG. Thank you so much, because now I got it. I got it now. I can sit here. My tablet can be there. My TV there. I mean, I got this set up now, OG. Now I got to get my what's that thing? That noise maker thing, the clap and all that. Uh-oh, y'all know what? We're going to have a lot of fun. I mean, the fun that is good for our soul, you know what I'm saying? Because I don't do too much. I used to do a lot. But I'm still active now, y'all. Don't get me wrong. I mean, hey, crank it up. But yeah, I'm just saying. But yeah, Philly, thank you so much, because I can sit here and talk to y'all, and I can interact with the chat. And that's what I like. I don't like talking to myself, y'all. I don't like talking to myself. I like y'all to interact with me and, let's kick it. We family up in here. For real. Love y'all much. Thank you. Let's go.
Yeah, watch about the brushing up to somebody that.
Oh, absolutely.
So that's not just a movie. In real life, we can do that as well.
100%.
Okay, so let's go back to this. So this is,
but let's go back to the point I'm making, and that is, people are afraid. And they should be. Now, this is why, I mean, going back to 94, I asked the president at the time, Clinton, to do an executive order protecting.
Let me stop that right there. I'm not showing this for no fear tactic. Let me just stop that right there. Okay? I'm showing this for awareness, for validation, for us to know some real messed up stuff happen. Okay? That's what I'm about. This here right here ain't about no fear tactic, cause we all gonna damn die. Excuse me. We all, y'all know this. Mama gone, daddy gone, great grandmama them all, everybody gone. Hell, we the uno. We the kahuna right here, right now, y'all. We the only one gonna get this shit done. Hell, I could die right now trying to tell y'all this. But one thing you can say, she went out trying to get this shit done. This stuff gotta be done, y'all. We gotta get it done. Ancestors depending on us, they blood. I feel they blood, man, boiling in my soul. 17 generations strong. I cry their tears. I feel their pain. But I know I'm gonna go the same way they did. I asked the ancestors, I say, have anybody in my family, in my line, ever got shot in the back by the police like my grandson did? How about the ancestors showed it to me? Yes. It's a whole plaque to tell you. He was 86, 90 years old. They locked him up and they shot him in the back while they had him in custody. You know, these things are real and true. You know, and we got stories. We got stories. You got stories of your ancestors, but you ain't had time to go to find them because of the fact that you got to go to work, or if you don't have time to even think about it. What else? But now is the time. Now is the appointed time for us to do what our ancestors couldn't do. They got the little chart set up. Sister Betty teaches us a lot about the Generation X's and the Dixons and the that. I don't know about them, but I do can recognize that my great grandmama, in her age, they was the silent years. Okay, I can recognize that. They because they wasn't able to say who they was. They had to live this. They done been bombed. They done been terrorized. What the hell? What would you say if folks came upon you and did because I know I was even in a riot when I was a little girl. They were still doing shit like that. But I didn't understand what it was then like I do now. But ever since I learned, I've always started trying in my 20s. I think I was like 26 when I first started trying to figure out stuff. Because I heard about my great granddaddy them having the 220 acres of land. So of course, didn't nobody else care about it but me. So I began to research before they even had the internet in the house. I had to go to the library. So I'm a library baby. Where I learned most of my stuff in the library. But like I said, y'all, we gotta get it. It's for us. It's our time to make it or break it. And y'all know what that means. Either we gonna stand and be who we say we are, or we need to shut the hell up. I'm just a little shit ain't worth nothing. It don't make nothing. Like Sister Jackie said, it's a nothing burger. That's the first person I heard say that, y'all. So I'm gonna clock her with that. Shout out to Sister Jackie Brown. How you doing, love? I don't know where you at, but I hope everything is lovely. Yeah, y'all. Here we go. Wait a minute. Did somebody say something I need to address in this chat? Let me see. Childhood immunization shots. Absolutely. 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 Well, yeah. Listen, what they did to, you know, who was born in the 80s? Do y'all know they bombed the Move people over there in the 80s? They literally dropped a bomb on those people. And that's proof right there that they've been bombing us all the time. And then when I found about the secret city over there in Tennessee, where they made the bomb that they bombed Hiroshima and all these other places that they were just not talking about, I'm like, wow, right in your backyard. So you were 6 years old when they done dropped that bomb over there on them people. Because they wouldn't put on clothes. Because they wouldn't live like they wanted them to live. Because they wouldn't go to the barber shop and get a haircut. Basically, and his name was John Africa. 86, 89, okay, the last one, okay, yep. But, you know, he was living the African type style life that he wanted to live. I guess he had the mentality that he was an African, but they dropped a bomb on him. Y'all, so they did that in the 80s. That's just like they drowned the people in Lake Lanier in what? The 50s. I think it was right after I was born, somewhere around now. But we were here. So a lot of people were here when they was doing these things, but it wasn't nothing we could even think about doing about it. But now we find out that we are not from there and that we really have some power, but we don't know how to use it. I guess I could say that. You think we could probably learn how to use the power that we're supposed to have? I'm just, you know, I just want to see something before I leave the earth, y'all. Because I know I'm trying to please the ancestors on my end. I'm doing what they tell me to do. And I just want to share with y'all so we all can try to do something now. You know what I'm saying, y'all? I'm talking to the phone like I'm talking to y'all, so I hope y'all hear me. But I'm finna put this back on. Let's see.
High value whistleblowers and witnesses who were the corporate or government, military, CIA, and no one would do it. I have a big announcement. I'm saying this on your show now because it starts June 20th.
So it's already
there's a
started.
special access project that has been stood up that is going to provide this kind of security and protection to whistleblowers and high value witnesses that are been sitting on the fence coming forward. This is a big announcement. I hope this goes viral because that's what we need. Now, I asked the Congress to put that in the bill, but they're not quite at the point where they realize lethal force has been used. They're still a little bit naive. And so since lethal force has been authorized, in fact, not long ago, there was a meeting in a SCIF talking about engaging the wet works. Wet works is a term for assassinations. It used to be an old Soviet term, wet from blood. But those sort of operations is not some kind of movie. You know, it's real. I've dealt with it, and you know, this chairman of this huge, former chairman of this big Fortune 50 corporation, he desperately he regrets what he did. You know, and he has stated to us that the whole world decades ago could have had quote unquote free energy with these the state it's in.
So let me ask.
He really wants to come forward, but he's scared. So I'm saying, look, I'm going to try to set this up.
I see what you're saying.
So this is a big announcement that there's, I can't say what agency it's under, but it is an authorized special access project that can monitor security and provide security and
to whistleblowers.
Yes, and witnesses, people who have been in these projects, seen things that want to come forward, or they may have documents like this gentleman.
Is this an agency that has a lot of credibility today?
I don't think any government agency in the United States has a lot of credibility today.
Is this a three-letter agency that we're familiar with?
It would certainly be known by any educated American, but I can't comment beyond that. But I will say that the people in it are all folks who had been in special forces, and they are not in the military now, because you can't do that. Of course, you're military can't act domestically, but and they're wonderful people. And so I've been working with these folks for a while and providing them an unredacted version of the archive we just released. Meaning unredacted, it has all the names. It has 760 some whistleblowers in it. Now, if you go to the archive, you'll see, I think we have 120 some whistleblowers and witnesses, name, rank, serial number, and their video testimony.
Thank you for stopping
Not one or two, not five. So what's in this archive, if the Congress held hearings starting next week, from Monday through Friday, 9 to 5.
These are the names, May 13, 2024.
Yeah, look at this. Yeah, it says 700 and some. But the first 100 and some are people we've already interviewed. We have their DD-214s, discharge forms. We have video, most of them video testimony.
Are these all public?
It's all public. Anyone with a computer on planet Earth can see these.
Can they see the videos, or that's being released?
Both.
Is it already released?
Yes, sir.
List.
Okay. And what's the website that they can go to?
Well, we have to put that up. This is a DP, like Disclosure Project Intelligence Archive. It's DPI archive.
DPIA.
Archive. Yeah.
We'll put the link below. We have it right there. Yeah.
We just released this last week, and of course we have about thousands of
right now.
data sites
Everybody
that are
out
shut
here.
down.
Go
So we are
research.
asking people to register. It's free. We have a crowdfunding program because it's probably going to
I
cost
appreciate
us
y'all hanging in here with me.
tens of thousands of dollars a month in usage fees. But the reason I did this, and I've never done this, if you want to hear an interesting backstory of how accidents happen, weird, like, why would I do something like this? And this is all stuff out of my own archive, 34 years of accumulated information. And in it also is the black site list, 150 some black sites. There they are. And also links to testimony from witnesses
Y'all
about
hear
what's
that
there
black
on the ground,
everywhere,
deep under
okay? That
military
belongs
bases
there.
or SCIFs, secure compartment information facilities. So some of them people heard of, like Nellis Air Force Base and Edwards. Some people most people never heard of.
Black sites.
Mm-hmm.
CIA controls black sites used by the U.S. government in its war on terror to detain people deemed to be enemy combatants.
Well, not that. That's well, we have various sites, but I'm talking about where retrieved UFOs have been put, where reverse engineered objects are located, where the man-made ones are. When we knock one down with an electromagnetic or weapon, a directional energy weapon, where are those taken, where are they being studied? All that's in the archive.
So
it's a massive data.
let me go through a couple things here. So one,
Been doing it.
this chairman of a former chairman of a Fortune 50 company.
Great guy.
If these 6,000 patents were to be released, and right now, if I'm not mistaken, the punishment is that they give you 75% of what they think the patent is worth. I believe that's what they say. And then if you sell it off to somebody else and they find out, you're going to jail for the rest of your life.
Right.
If you even talk about it, you're going to jail for the rest of your life.
Right.
And if you go on Invention Secrecy Act of 1951, the way they categorize on what goes in there, right there, if you can read it, folks, the Invention Secrecy Act allows the U.S. government to classify ideas and patents under secrecy orders, which definitely restrict public knowledge of them. And at the top, if you read it, the United States federal law designed to prevent disclosure of new investigations, the opinion and technologies that, in the opinion of selected federal agencies, so it's purely opinion-based, of selected federal agencies present an alleged threat, it's alleged threat, to the economic stability and national security of the United States. Okay, so energy, oil, let's just go through. ExxonMobil right now, market cap, June 2024, is $497 billion, $500 billion company. Chevron is 284. PetroChina, 244, but that's China. India, UK, set them aside. You got a few other companies. You got BP, $100 billion companies. These are not small companies we're talking about. Shell, 218, right? I can go through a bunch of these that we know about. If these things were released, how long
you missed
before
it, man.
these industries were wiped out? Or would it be nasty? Would it be ugly? Would it be a
Yeah, Hurricane, they got direct energy weapons that give you cancer. He just not exposing all of that, my man. Go back and check it out at your leisure. There it is. It's called They'll Erase You, Super Elites Invention Secrecy Act, Tesla and UFOs. They actually live now. They don't went off now, I guess.
Danger to society. Would people be doing, would protesting, riots, ugliness, power players coming and saying, you're touching my wealth, what are you doing? What would happen if this actually was to be released?
Well, see, this is the tragedy of corrupt interests keeping good
Was
science.
to come and say, you taking my wealth. Wait a minute, what did he just say? I'm sorry, y'all.
Means we're talking about Shell 218, right? I can go through a bunch of these that we know about. If these things were released, how long before these industries were wiped out? Or would it be nasty? Would it be ugly? Would it be a danger to society? Would people be doing, would protesting, riots, ugliness, power players coming and saying, you're touching my wealth, what are you doing?
Now, that's what I thought he said. Y'all heard that? What would happen if these people really came out and blow the whistle on the things that's going on because they're taking our wealth? Remember? They have our wealth. They're living and eating off of us. They're parasites. Okay? So that's why I went back. I thought I heard him say the people would come and say, no, y'all taking our wealth. They'll start protesting. They'll start doing. But this is where being and doing comes in play. Get in while you can and understand that you are the source. You are the source of every one of them. And you can be in control of it and handle your business where ain't nobody feeding off you like a parasite. Let's go.
What would happen if this actually was to be released?
Well, see, this is the tragedy of corrupt interests keeping good science away from the public for over 100 years.
Okay.
Yes, it's going to be very difficult. It's like an addiction. The current energy paradigm, the whole planet is now addicted to substances that are not only cancer causing and bad for the environment, but costly, and it leaves, as I mentioned, 3 billion people with no means even to cook their food. So that paradigm should have been retired, but we can't help that. We have to take the fact this is 2024. And so what I have always said is that it has to be released and then transitioned. But keep in mind, let's take one example since you're getting into the macroeconomics of this. We make on the planet about 100 million motor vehicles a year.
Mm-hmm.
But there are 1.5 billion motor vehicles on the road, cars and trucks. So even if you retooled and twinkled your nose like Bewitched or something and retrofitted all
twinkle your nose like
manufacturing to these systems, it would take about 15 years. And to tool up, it'll be 5. So you're talking 20 years. Now, I'll probably be dead because I turned 69 the next week. And, your children will be in college. And so even if we did it immediately, because there's a lag time, because we're not talking about, downloading an app. We're talking about heavy industry here. We're talking about public utilities. We're talking about manufacturing a box that would be at your house that would generate all the energy you need for your home. No bill, no power bill, and no pollution. But to retrofit 3 billion households on the planet, 2.5 billion, this is a massive, this makes the Marshall Plan after World War II look like nothing.
Okay, let me stop that right there. He just triggered something in me when he said, the whole thing that they did when they stole the energy thing and killed and eliminated I'm gonna try to use some different words, y'all. But I just do. It's raw how you did it, and it should be said how you did it. It shouldn't be cleaned up. It shouldn't be cute, dressed up with no pink and blue bows or nothing on it. It should just be said just like it is when the facts is in your face. When they murdered that man and took all his ideas and they created this very scheme of the fact. That's the beginning of the whole scheme of the effect, from what I'm understanding at this point. What y'all say? What say y'all? I mean, really listen. It starts off with this energy, which we are, in fact, the energy that they're using because they're making us pay for something that was ordinarily wasn't. So they created this fraud of industry, and that's what he's saying. If these people come out and tell this, but we know this, do they really have to ring a bell and stand here and tell us when we already know? For real? That this is what it's meaning. But now a lot of us are waking up to that and understanding. And that's how they created these energy companies. When we're supposed to have it free, but they created the industry company to put us under debt. But in 1933, when they went bankrupt, the government took over and supposed to pay for all the people's debt. All the people's debt don't belong to me. All the people's debt belongs to the government. So we're supposed to know how to get that done. We're going to know over here. We're going to know over here. Because like I said, I'm still on the internet. I ain't paid since October, and I'm going to keep saying, and they can cut it off. But when they cut it off, the best to know I got some more numbers, and they're going to have to cut it back on. So what's the difference? What's the difference now? I've learned how to work as a corporation. What the hell? You are the corporation, so you might as well to run like one. Haven't y'all seen people with their whole business sign right up at their house? What you think that means? What do you think that means? That they can do it and you can't? The hell? Y'all, it's time to know what's yours and what you're supposed to be doing. And they been had us so busy on their stuff, we can't think about what we're supposed to be doing on ours. But you the business. You the LLC. You the estate. You the foreign grantors trust. And then you are the banker. You are the postmaster general. Hell, you are the Bailey and the Baylor. Come on, y'all. What? That's all I'm here for. That's all I'm here for. Enlightenment to show you better than I can tell you. I will do all I can, baby. I promise you. Because that's why I'm here. I am here for this. Because I see too many people, being tricked. They think everything is a Moore situation. No, this shit is Canaan law. Ain't got nothing to do with no more than to do with religion or if you will. But it ain't got nothing to do with no just say because the first people started using it was the pale skinned people who was claiming sovereignty. You see? But, this is not about sovereignty. It's about just knowing your rights, knowing the law, and knowing what people can and cannot do to you. And when you know that, you gain your power back, and that's what it's about. There is only one law, and that is that you don't harm nobody or their property. And if it's no injured party, there is no law broken. But all that is about karma. That's about them running you up in their courthouse. You don't never have to go into a courthouse ever in your life. For nothing. Even me. I got locked up coming out the courthouse, y'all. But I was handling my business and standing strong in it. You see? And I walked away from the case with no problem. See? Because I stood on what I knew and told them they didn't have. It wasn't, it wasn't what they thought it was. You know what I'm saying? So it worked in my favor. But I pressed it all the way to the Superior Court because they thought they were going to eat lunch off me at that little Mark courthouse at the auditorium, sitting on a stage playing me. You got the right one, baby, because I know the games y'all play. You see what I'm saying? I know that wasn't no courthouse. Y'all sitting there at part little what's those card tables and chairs, sitting across the stage, acting like judges. There is no judges. There is nobody but public servants to the United States Corporation. They're not there for you. Don't even call them for assistance because somebody might die or somebody might go to jail because they're going to find a way to get some money off of you. And you work more dead than alive the majority of the time when they done all they could do with you. So it's just what it is, y'all. But we got to find a way to protect ourselves. And that's where I'm at now, protecting myself. And I'm just a little old lady, but I feel like I don't have no fear of none of that shit no more. And the only thing I used to fear was the police, that they would do to me what they did to my grandson. But you know what? I don't even fear that no more. You know what I'm saying? I don't even fear that no more. Because it's the way it is in life. Don't nobody know how we're going to leave him. And we don't know what's going to happen. But one thing I do know is I'm going to pay my way. And I'm going to prepare my vehicle. I'm going to prepare how I want to leave out of here. You know what I'm saying? Even down to having my own life insurance. Picking my own color, whatever outfit. Whatever they're going to do. You know what I'm saying? I'm preparing that. I'm not leaving that for half chance for nobody in my family. That's the business I'm on, But these people so bloodthirsty and bone hungry. I don't know what I want to do with my dead body. You know what I'm saying? They get trying to be really, really about it, Because I definitely don't think them are cremation ashes that they give people back talking about those are ashes of their loved ones. Do you? Do anybody here believe they are real ashes in those urns? Anybody got any urns? I'm not disrespecting no one at no point. Yeah, Yazel, you've been on you see my TikTok? Oh, you didn't know you're from the Moors? Oh wow, talk about that. Wow, yeah. That's why we snapping. But see, this is the thing though. All those religions came from Abraham. And so I mean, I don't think one no better than the other. You know. And I know that in my opinion, we wasn't speaking we wasn't those people, in other words. All that happened over there. There was some kind of way that I can see a separation in where we was over here and them over there. One day maybe I'll be able to share that. I see that. But yeah, we were separated from all them over there without those are I know y'all don't like it, some people don't like the Bible, but it's stuff in there that's hidden away that must be. I'm gonna clarify it. In Psalms 83, it speaks of every nation that is in the United Nations today. Okay? And it tells you that they set up a confederate. What the hell is a confederate and all that stuff they gave us, right? They set up a confederate against the people over here. See, it's in there. It's in there. And that they decided that they was going to get rid of us and take the name and make our name no more be remembered in the earth. Okay, this shit is real, when you see it and know that this is what's happening. You see what I'm saying? Now, each one of those nations, at the end, it says that they are the children of Lot. Okay? Y'all might not know, but Lot is Abraham's nephew. So if Abraham had 3 sons that came from Muslim, one of them became a Muslim, one of them became a Judaism, and the other became a Christian. Then one of those was Lot's daddy. Came out of one of those lineage of those 3 boys, because that was his nephew, Abraham's nephew. So with Lot being over there in Sodom and Gomorrah, the place that had the wickedness, had the wickedness of everything and was destroyed, his wicked wife, wasn't nobody saved but him and 2 wicked women, his daughters. Because they defied, now this is the story, listen now. They desired to have a seed because they said there wasn't no more people in the earth. Because that's how they feel. They're sitting on the mountain some damn well, right? This is the story. But these 2 women called themselves got their daddy drunk and had sex with him. This is where Moab, who now calls themselves the Moors, and Ammon, and I don't know who Ammon called himself. I forgot. I'm not thinking about that right now. But Moab is the one. But it says in that song that they are all the nations that's in the United Nations is to help Lot. They are to help Lot seed. So that lets me know all them people from over there is the ones that's being over here invading us now. Hey, especially Nevers, how you doing, sis? Great continuation to you. Thanks for stopping over with me. But yeah, that's the situation with some of the stories that relate to some of the stuff that I see going on in this land and who the people are, because and if you look up the Asiatistical people, you'll see all of them. It'll tell you who they all is right now today and where they all at right now today. And we were here. We were here while they were there. So all these how many of years they want to give us that they've been mixing and mingling with. Now they just been, what they call it, immigrating people all around here to confuse the issue of who we really are. So let's go. Let's see what sis said. Well, thank you so much, sis. Thank you so much, sis. I
We're talking about public utilities. We're talking about manufacturing a box that would be at your house that would generate all the energy you need for your home, no bill, no power bill, and no pollution. But to retrofit 3 billion households on the planet, 2.5 billion, this is a massive, this makes the Marshall Plan after World War II look like nothing. So yes, this is what I've been saying, the policymakers, this needs to happen, it will happen. But the longer, this is like a leak in your roof, right? The longer you put that off, the harder and the...
He mentioned the Marshall Plan. Y'all remember that when we go to that Tennessee, the secret city in Tennessee, they talks about the Marshall Plan and how, after the World War, that all of this is plans that they set up to do with where we at right now today, y'all. Come on.
Mess is going to be to clean up and the more damage. So this is the tragedy of it, is that this was allowed to go on. And one of the things I've observed, people in periods of enormous power and responsibility, when they realize, when I go into a facility, I say, see that thing? That's an alternative energy and propulsion device, what people call a UFO. Well, once they realize what these implications are,
Y'all heard that?
And then they get scared. They get to the edge of the table or the edge of the cliff and back off. So here we are. Now, I've spent 34 years trying to resolve this problem, literally 50% of my biological life. And it's a very heavy lift, and a very dangerous lift. But, what are we going to leave to our children, your children, my grandchildren? What are we leaving, on this planet to them? And I think beyond that, there's even a bigger issue not being addressed. Some of these UFOs or UAPs are from extraterrestrial origin. None of them are hostile, but we have been targeting them with electromagnetic directional energy weapons since the 40s. And those technologies have become more and more sophisticated. And, they have not struck back. If they did, the whole planet would come to a standstill, because I think they're fundamentally peaceful and very highly developed socially and spiritually. However,
How do we know that?
well, because there have been a lot of people who've had contact, and there's no evidence otherwise. Now, there's some.
Yeah, he do keep saying that. He said it more than once, didn't he, Brown Liquor? His biological life. Does that... Don't get me going now. What? He said, half my biological life? Yeah. What are these? Half of... Y'all, that's it. Y'all, I want to get to the end of this, but look, y'all, if we don't get to the end of this, because I don't like to just hang and be, but if y'all want to hang, long as y'all hang, we good. Long as y'all say, let's listen to it, we can listen to it. But, I'll be trying to do marathons. We was on 8 hours last night, Brown Liquor. And the time went by so fast. Yeah, inorganic confession. That is crazy, y'all. You here for it, Alexis? Let's roll this. Hey, it's a good one day. What they call it today? Monday. I try to keep them words out of my mouth, y'all. It's gonna be hard being on the internet now because I'm talking more. So I have to catch my phrases. So bear with me, y'all, because I'm trying not to say certain things out of my mouth they done taught me to say. For real. But y'all want to hear that again to make sure that's what we heard? Are we clear? Are we clear that this man told her Are we really clear that this man just told her he had a half of a biological life? He had that. What? Zapped you with an energy thing. I would have slapped it with an energy thing. Run it back. Okay, here we go. Oh, right. We cooking, y'all. We all gonna eat today. Come on, let's see. Let's run it back a little bit here. We need to hear what he said. Here we go, y'all.
Literally 50% of my biological life.
Oh no! Wait. Maybe he's saying just half of his life, y'all. Come on.
What are we gonna leave?
Okay, let me do that again. Maybe he just said, are we all do we all have a biological life? Let me ask that question first. What does it mean to have a biological life? Okay, your moon, the money, your moon. So do we all? Is it safe to say we all have a biological life, or is it something different he's speaking of? Y'all know me, I'll grab a dictionary in a minute. Biological life. What y'all think? Do we all have a biological life? I need that cleared up, Brown Liquor. Sis, especially. Do we all have a biological life? Who else up in here with us? 14 of y'all up in here. Glad to have y'all. Let me see you all up in here with me. Let me go to the top. I can call it. Ooh. Okay, we got Brown Liquor. Shout out to you, bro. You last with me last night, first with me today. You get that hero. You know you my hero. Thank you. Got it. Last with me last night on the Make Sure Outside and the first with me today. Shout out to y'all. Y'all get that here that you get the Shiro Award, Sister Goddess. My sincere gratitude to you. And OG Filler, right there where he's supposed to be, right here. Shout out to you, OG. I love you much. You know, my success is your success, bro. For real. Then we got American Indian. You rocked with me last night. Thank you for coming back. Yeah, okay. Who else up in here? Alexis, thank you so much. Thank you for being with us today. And y'all make sure y'all refresh y'all what is it, the subscribe? Because you know I haven't been really building and I think I'm shadow banned, so but you will get because I might go on 2-3 times a day. It just depends on how I feel because I know how to work this thing now. Yeah, y'all might say that lady right there ran crazy because I got a lot to say, I got a lot to do, and when I'm triggered. I want to be able to do it my way, you know. So I appreciate y'all for tapping in and let's getting some stuff done because that's why I'm here. I'm here to really play with it. I'm here to get it done. Sharon Walker, love you, my sis. Thank you, thank you. Yazia nephew, you already know. Always, always. Charles Johnson, oh, absolutely. Education in the building, always. Please educate all the children, y'all, every day. I don't even have them around me. I wish I did. Mine is far away, you know, because they mama choose to want to do Disney and all kind of other things that I highly disapprove of everything they do. So, of course, I'm hated, right? I'm the black sheep of the family. Because I'm on this page right here. I know nobody else want to walk with me. But it's all right. It's all right. Hopefully one day they'll change. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, y'all, appreciate all y'all who are up in here with me. We're going to do this video back. Oh, Mr. Blue. Yeah, Shat. Here we go. There go the rest of y'all. Shanine, my love. Hey, y'all. I hope y'all having a fabulous, fantastic journey along this way because y'all, you only get one chance. Right now is that time. Jaguela, you my love. Hurricane JW, thank you so much for being here, y'all. Let's see, it's Special Navigator, my love. Hey, Pretty. Y'all make my day. Y'all make my day by hanging out with me, you know. I always love to see y'all in the other chat. And I will always go back and forward, you know, with my people, but I just can't, you know, my energy, my nerves, I can't take it. And y'all see how I am when I get triggered and jump up there. I be so nervous, but it's something that went through me, and but I don't want to argue with people, y'all. I gotta keep my energy low like that. You hear me? So all honor and love to y'all. I appreciate all y'all for being here. Oh, you planning some food? That's what's up. Where you at? I need to eat, y'all. You out with you doing your walking? Okay, that's what's up. That's what's up. Let me see. Yeah, honor to you too, Sister Sharon. But you say I was one of them watching from my TV. Oh, you was on TV. Oh, last night. Okay. That's what's up. Yeah, I did do something. Okay. Thank you, Yazia. Let's see. So Brown Lookout having his walk. That's what's up. Um, Listening, planting watermelons. what's up. And some sweet potatoes. You know what? It watermelon. The watermelons I bought this year, I bought 6 of them. 3 of them was bad, and 3 of them was all right. But they made me I don't want watermelon more. I don't like watermelon no more. They done did something to it. It ain't real. It ain't real. I don't want no more of that. So I want one if you can grow me one. But yeah, I don't want no more of that. Okay, so especially now they used to sell to children those toy stun devices around that time. Oh yeah, I remember those little things too. Yeah, I do. I really do. Oh, thank you so much, Alexis. Thank you so much, y'all. Let's see this, y'all. Come on. Let's go.
Off, the harder and the mess is going to be to clean up, and the more damage. So this is the tragedy of it, is that this was allowed to go on. And one of the things I've observed, people in periods of enormous power and responsibility, when they realize, when I go into a facility and I say, see that thing? That's an alternative energy and propulsion device, what people call a UFO. Well, once they realize what these implications are, then they get scared. They get to the edge of the table or the edge of the cliff and back off. So here we are. Now, I've spent 34 years trying to resolve this problem, literally 50% of my biological life. And it's a very heavy lift, and a very dangerous lift. But, what are we going to leave to our children? Your children, I have 12 grandchildren. What are we leaving, on this planet? And I think beyond that, there's even a bigger issue not being addressed. Some of these UFOs or UAPs are from extraterrestrial origin. None of them are hostile, but we have been targeting them with electromagnetic directional energy weapons since the 40s. And those technologies have become more and more sophisticated. And, they have not struck back. If they did, the whole planet would come to a standstill, because I think they're fundamentally peaceful and very highly developed socially and spiritually. However,
How do we know that?
well, because there have been a lot of people who've had contact, and there's no evidence otherwise. Now, there's some scary stories, what we call the stagecraft of, so-called abductions and mutilations and things like that. But those are all done by covert human programs. Those are lookalikes. We get and that's there's a whole section of the archive on that. And we actually document this. I have top secret guys who come forward on the record stating point blank that they have been part of operations abducting people. And in fact, the very famous astrophysicist, Dr. Jacques Vallée, who some of his work ended up in Steven Spielberg's movie Close Encounters of the Third Kind. And he's up in his 80s now. And in 1992, he wrote a book, and he had a log entry where he had received a 1985 CIA document that outlined, for psychological warfare purposes, them using these advanced technologies that look like an alien craft and other technologies to, quote, abduct peasants in Argentina and Brazil for their psychological warfare value. Now, that's in black and white. And so people go, this sounds crazier than the myth you've been told, and it is. But why would they do that? Werner von Braun, on his deathbed in 1974, told a member of my team, Carol Rosen, that their plan is to create, eventually, and hoax, a threat from outer space, to try to unite the world, like Independence Day, the movie, and sort of a military global junta of humans against aliens. It's all nonsense. It's BS. But it sells well. It sells movies. It sells tickets. It sells books.
This is the Blue Beam, Project Blue Beam?
Yeah, that related to that. And I've met with many men who've been on operationally, like literally have been operational on those programs. Now, it went from really clunky stuff, like the Betty and Barney Hill abduction. People think that was alien. It wasn't. It was us.
They did have some stuff going on back then, y'all. Y'all don't know about it.
About that. And it was an interracial couple, a very interesting story. But most people have no idea what really happened with that. And this is one of the really disturbing parts of this archive, is what are the technologies that are in the hands of these sort of monsters, and how have they used it to deceive the public, but also deceive policymakers and presidents. You know, I talked to a man named Colonel Holman, H-O-L-M-A-N. He passed away, and this was maybe 5 years ago. And he was on a committee trying to sell first Carter, who wouldn't bite, and then President Reagan on SDI, Star Wars, the Strategic Defense Initiative. And they weren't biting. And then he said, what we did, we eventually played the alien threat card. And that's when Reagan signed on to it. Now, he was prepared to do so because I'm working with an older CIA officer with a PhD. Some of his information is in the archive. His name's protected because we still work together. And he actually was a postdoc, had a PhD, and briefed candidate Ronald Reagan in 1979 when he was thinking of running for president on the UFO issue. Because Reagan had a couple sightings, including one on the governor's plane that you may have heard about. It is well documented. And so, you know, President Reagan, here's one of the problems of the president. You get into a position and say you're a governor, or you're a real estate developer like Mr. Trump, whatever you are, or, you know, Mr. Carter said he was a peanut farmer. He was actually a nuclear engineer and the top of his class in Annapolis, very smart, probably our highest IQ president. He politically not very good, but he was very, very smart. But and you're going to come in there, and the people who are going to come in and brief you on this, if you ask, you're either going to be told nothing. And I know this because I've dealt with pretty much every bit of presidential involvement since Clinton. You're either going to be told nothing, or you're going to be told a version of the truth that manipulates you into decisions they want you to make. And that's what happened to Mr. Trump and Mr. Pence, and also to Ronald Reagan. So it's dangerous. That kind of secrecy, let me tell you why it's so dangerous. It's the foxes, and there's manning the hen house. You know, who's overseeing this, right? Who's looking into this, and who is in charge? Well, it certainly isn't the president. They come and go every 4 to 8 years. Members of Congress come and go all the time. So there's sort of this permanent committee, a few hundred people, and they've arrogated this because it's so secret, the right to do this. But they cannot be trusted.
Who do they report to?
Themselves. I mean, this is a global operation. And by the way,
It's a global operation. So from different countries.
100%. No, it take the map of the world and erase all the geopolitical lines. It doesn't matter. And that's actually, when the Senate intelligence people wanted me to come in, there was a map of the world in the conference room in the SCIF. And I said, see that map? Erased all the lines on it. These folks, the world is their oyster. They operate as they want.
Who nominates them?
Nobody. They move up through the chain of command or through corporations.
How do you move up?
You're moved up by giving a little information, see what you do with it. And if you can keep the secrecy, but more importantly, once you reach a certain level of clearance, when you realize how monstrous and criminal the operations are, will you stay with that? I'm dealing with a team right now that I can't see. I won't even say what state they're in. But let's just say in September, I was on a classified helicopter over 2 black sites and was shown where the underground openings are out in the desert, where the man-made ones come up and are tested. But there are also electromagnetic pulse weapons that are illegal by the Nuclear Non-Proliferation Treaty that are, and I have video and photos of this. One of the photos is in the archive. I'll just tell you that. And there looks like there's a landing strip. It's not. It's an area with diamonds on it, and that's where the man-made, some people call them ARVs, alien reproduction vehicles, come up from underground. And I have the photos and video of the underground opening. We went right around it because this guy was cleared. He's one of the top people in the system, but he's wanting to defect.
And it's one of these 100 people, one of these couple hundred people.
He's very high up. I wouldn't say he's on that policy level, but operationally, he's been read in for many, many, many years, and he's very high up.
What's his reason? And so what did you went there and you actually saw it?
Yeah, videotape. I have all of it.
And it's public?
Some of it. Off there, I'll show you the video.
Okay.
And so that in September, and then of course I was almost killed in October. I think I mentioned it too.
How'd you get almost killed in October?
Oh, someone tampered with my mountain bike seat and it snapped off, and I was going fast, and my left foot came off, and 2 bones were in the air, and my left shoulder came off. I had 4 surgeries in 3 months.
You gotta be kidding me.
Yeah, I'm up doing everything now, but it was hell on earth. But it was at the first.
And how do you know it was tampered? How do you know somebody?
Well, I mean, it wasn't the bike didn't. It was like the whole thing was kind of saw through and snapped off. We can't prove anything. Who cares? I mean, as an emergency doctor, I'm a trauma doctor anyway. Ironically, I'm laying there going, it's like an out-of-body experience, seeing me there with my foot off and the bones in the air. But I go, the only thing I said, I'm effed. That's the only thing I said. But, it was full trauma.
How much do you, because you're in this world, who do you trust? Like, how do you process who you can trust and who you can't trust?
Mm-hmm. Oh, it's like things. It was in the Bible. Ye shall know them by their deeds. So, my wife, my close circle of friends I've had for 50, 60 years, my assistant who's been with me for a quarter of a century, and other people. And, now there's this whole team of, special forces folks and people who are defecting that are very close and who are enormously courageous men who want to do the right thing for the world and for the country. Green Berets and Navy SEALs, some of them. But some of them are still very active. Some have separated from the military and are working in private. But they're all gathering to do this disclosure of the subject. And then what I just mentioned, the gentleman who had me on the chopper over these black sites in September, there's a whole team that he is involved with at these sensitive facilities that are the word used when he first reached out to me was fed up. They are fed up with what's happening to the planet. They're fed up with the illegal secrecy, and they're fed up with some of the atrocities that are happening that they've been part of. And, it's very emotional for these men.
It's funny they won't let you really mute, y'all. Yeah, that's right there. These demons.
Join Planet Fitness today and lock in $10 a month.
Much appreciation for y'all.
Tired of overpaying for rent?
Now,
What if we told you?
I don't really want to bore y'all with this, but I think it's very important that we understand what is really going on. So, it is on the internet, and I just wanted to bring it to your attention. If y'all tell me to keep playing it, I will keep playing it, because I will always do what's necessary and not what I want to do on this live, when I interact with you guys. So y'all want to keep looking at this, or y'all want to travel somewhere else? Y'all want to eat something else? Y'all tired of this? Y'all want to clean y'all palate? What y'all want to do? All the beans. See, it's not boring. Okay. That's what's up. I got one that's on board with it. That's what's up, y'all. All right, we're going to go on. Keep rolling. Got 2, y'all. Come on, y'all. We rolling. Love y'all.
That you could live somewhere for only $109.
This chairman of the former
He looks
former chairman of the
disgusted and
Fortune
scared,
50
don't he?
company. If he comes out, what would he be leaking as a whistleblower to the country, to the world?
Well, he'd be leaking that one of the largest corporations in the world.
Y'all still hearing good?
Had worked on these programs, and he has with him in his possession the schematics and plans for these technologies and devices. And he wants to hand them over before he passes away. But he doesn't want to see any collateral damage with his family.
That's
so
what's
that's why I
up.
mentioned,
Thank y'all.
I've been trying to get this sort of protection. And even with that, I'm not sure who won't. People get very cold feet. I mean, I'll tell you a weird story that happened in the past year. There was a man who had worked out of the Northern Nevada test range. And his testimony and information and the drawings of this event are in the archive. We took his name out because he doesn't want to be known publicly yet. But he reached out to me about this, and he was on a retrieval team. So it was at if you go from Nellis Air Force Base way north where the nuclear test range was, where we did open air testing, there's a huge area, and there's an underground base there and facility, and there's a team, a helicopter pad, a team with Delta Force guys, and then this guy had been part of the retrieval operation in hazmat suits. He was first put in there to retrieve man-made, the triangular UFOs that are coming out of Northrop Grumman and Raytheon that would malfunction and crash. We have great artist rendition of exactly what these look like. Then he was moved into an operation where they would target, someone was targeting, not him, the extraterrestrial ones, and stun them. And they would go in to retrieve them. And he realized what we were doing. And he had an encounter with two of these EBINs, extraterrestrial biological entities, what they're called, or aliens. I don't use the word aliens. People think it's someone from, Peru. But what happened is he was so sickened by what they were doing. He tried to separate from the operation, which you generally can't do. But he had an uncle, and we know who he is, very high up in the clandestine program, who helped get him out. But then he subsequently went through a whole series of events, including an attempted alien abduction with these fake-looking gray aliens. And he actually knocked one down. We have a great artist rendering of how it split open what looked like the skin, and they were all fiber optics and integrated circuits and stuff. This stuff is very sophisticated technology, way beyond what people can imagine we might have. So when he reached out to me, he was going to come actually to the National Press Club and the congressional things we did last summer in June, about a year ago. And a van pulls up, an SUV pulls up, and guys come out, and they say, "You step one step further. Look at your phone." And they had put child pornography all over his phone.
Oh my goodness.
You won't see your two little children again. Because he was recently in these programs. You'll spend the rest of your life in prison.
Oh, goodness.
And he called me up. Now, if some nonsense like that happens to one of my guys now, it'll be monitored. If they come forward, I hand them off to this special access projects team that have this monitoring capability. They will open a criminal file and arrest and open a criminal prosecution of whoever threatens these witnesses. That's what we're saying. Because I'm fed up. I mean, I've been carrying this ball and chain for a long time. So that's the kind of stuff that happens routinely. I deal with this every week, every month. We have a new whistleblower comes forward, and these sort of dirty tricks and nasty nonsense.
Oh, wait a minute.
I'm a civilian. I mean, all this stuff you hear me on talking about doing, I've done pro bono without charge in the interest of the public. But there's a critical mass that's happened.
My goodness.
I call it of very
Gregory,
capable,
somebody, I just needed somebody email. I'm upset and I can't get it back out.
Time for this to come out. And now they have finally put together a way to protect these wonderful.
Oh my goodness, y'all! I need breaking news. Somebody named Gregory. I don't know whether you're in this chat or you ever hear this video, but you sent me an email, love, and I just deleted it accidentally. And if anybody just sent me an email, I don't know where it's at. I do not see. I had one from you, Goddess. I saw your mail. I had two. Okay. And now I don't see any mails from you. So I'm kind of like tripping out over here. I'm trying to reach out to y'all. So I need for everybody under the sound of my voice who have sent me an email, because I'm right here at my email. I got it open on my third device. I need y'all to resend me an email, please, because y'all know I'm new at this. And I do. Oh my God. I see Chris Jamie Mack has sent me an email. Email back in June the 14th. But I don't have anything from last night. And I know I had. Now I got to go one other place to check. I don't know how my emails are tied up, y'all. Because I was going, it kept making YouTubes for me. But I was on the wrong email. So I figured that out too, y'all. So my stuff is a little twisted. What you say? You should have a deleted file. Okay, sis, thank you. I'll check that out too. Go to your trash. Okay. Yeah, I was thinking on that too. That's what I was going to check out. Thank you so much. Yeah, y'all help me out, okay? Help me out. We all going to be great. Okay, here we go. We're finna go back at it. Because we got to beat offline, y'all. We can't let everybody.
They're incredibly courageous people. But sometimes they start to come forward and they get such a threat they back off.
Let me ask a couple questions.
And that frustrates me because some of the best ones, some of the very best people I'd like to put out in front of the Congress and the public, the best ones I would say, are the ones that they throw the worst dirt at.
And the tactic is always the same, right? It's public humiliation, embarrassment in front of your family and kids, ruin your legacy. Mm-hmm. And whether you have done anything for us to blame you or not, we can fabricate it anyways and destroy your entire life. Right?
Ooh, that's
the
wicked.
strategy.
Go in and clean out your bank account.
Yeah. You know what would be a great
insurance
business
nothing.
is to find a way to protect you, that if anybody ever tries to do that, you're protected from it. I don't know what the method would be to do that, but that would definitely be a big insurance industry if somebody could protect you from those types of things.
Well, you know what I did instead? I did
that trash. It said deleted forever.
And I have files
crazy
that no one's ever seen.
Okay.
If something happens to me, and I put this in place in the late 90s after I was almost killed. And I said, yeah, if I just flat out get killed, the stuff that will hit blockchain and internet and sites that will curl your toes. I mean, the archive is mind blowing, but the stuff I've redacted and these private files would be even more explosive. And I did it because, the first 3 people who were killed were back in that era. One of them was a former CIA director helping us. I don't know if you remember back in the Ford and Nixon and Ford era, there was a CIA director named Bill Colby. And Bill Colby was read in or briefed on this, was very much involved. And he was maybe pushing 80 and very fed up. And he was like, he was over it.
William
So he knew what he was going to do.
Colby.
He was going to hand off to us one of these 0-point quantum energy generation devices, free energy, and initially about $50 million in seed money just to get that going and hand it off. But he wanted to do it clandestinely, which I thought was very dangerous. He should have done
This
it.
is not there. If you could send it again.
Or the press conference.
I mean,
But
yeah,
wanted to do
send
it
me
that way.
another
So there
one,
was a
please.
colonel
So that
who
I
was on
can
my
get
team,
you
who
my
was his
phone
best
number.
friend. And the week he was going to meet with a member of my board, Bill Colby, the former CIA director, was found floating south of D.C. in the river, made to look like a canoeing accident. Even his wife went on CNN and said he would not have been out there canoeing, rains full in river at dusk. And he was killed. And his friend, who was a colonel, said, "Oh, absolutely."
Wow.
If you spit blood when you brush, it could be the start of a domino effect. New Parodontax Active Gum Health Breath Freshener kills 99.9% of plant bacteria that could lead to gum problems and bad breath. A new mouthwash from Parodontax.
Introducing Kevin Costner's first ever partnership. Say that it's been balanced. Ran out of time.
Trying to mute it, y'all.
Brace yourself for this beast of a lens, military grade, and ready to
I
roll
know
with
Cessna
you anywhere.
apologizing.
Dude, you
That's
gotta hear
how
about this thing. It's
TV
like having an
is,
idle
ain't it?
hawk in your pocket.
They made
So
the
there's this
internet
gadget,
just
right,
like the
developed
TV.
for
They
the
got to
US
pay
Special
their
Forces,
bills,
and it's
right?
wild. Picture
Let's
this.
go.
Yeah. So that was a shot across the bow. That was in 1995 during the Clinton era. And what people don't, a lot of people don't think that kind of thing happens. And of course, the media said it was an accident, and his son, unfortunately, thinks he committed suicide, which he didn't. And that's a terrible thing. They think your father committed suicide. He did not commit suicide.
What's the story? What happened with Nikola Tesla when he got out in a cab, and that whole story?
Yeah, well, he knew too much too. When Albert Einstein was asked by a reporter, "What's it like being a genius?" You know what he said?
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't know. Ask Nikola Tesla.
Mm-hmm.
Nikola Tesla was probably the great genius of the 20th century, and he died a poor man, a bitter man. Most of his
Yeah,
huge
because y'all
breakthroughs
stole his
never
like
saw
you
the
stole
light of day.
everybody else's stuff.
He had one of these sort of electromagnetic generators that was free energy. J.P. Morgan famously told him that we can't put a meter on it and charge the utilities. It's not coming out. I mean, we're talking 20s here, 100 years ago. So,
Yeah.
it didn't help that he was a genius and had these breakthroughs. And that's why it's like 24 trunks of secret papers. And the day he died, we can prove this. In this archive is a Department of Defense memo to the FBI demanding that the FBI turn those over. And I don't know if they ever did. I mean, that happened in 43. That the document is not contested. It's authenticated document was from the 1980s. So eventually, someone at the Pentagon realized what the FBI was sitting on in a compartmented Black Project, and they wanted it. So the untangling the history of this. Of course, we'd be here for a week, but it's all in the archive. I mean, it's laborious to go through. It'd probably take people 2 years just to partially read it and see it. But I just want to say one thing that's missing out of the archive is that I've done, I think it's about 20 intelligence briefings that are being rewritten with links that aren't in the archive yet. That'll be the first category. Right now there are 13, so it'll be 14 with this one. And it will relate to each of the categories: crash retrievals, military whistleblowers, technology, the black budget of the United
We'll
States.
put the link to go. So go back to Nikola, though. So what happened that day? New Yorker, he's getting out the hotel. I'm trying to see how I read the story. Cab hits him, and you're thinking maybe there was an inside job that broke his ribs or.
Yeah, who knows? I mean, one of the things that Gordon Crichton said, he was a MI6 guy. I mean, his testimony is in our the British intelligence guy. It's in our archive. He says, if you become too troublesome, they just erase you. And they get rid of you. I heard that term the first in the 90s, erasure. They just erase you. I think that my like I said, my coming of age of this, I was fortunate that when I first started out on this in the early 90s, there was a naval intelligence guy who I thought was an infiltrator, but he was actually very sincere. I didn't know what an unacknowledged special access project was. I'm a doctor. I'm an emergency doctor with 4 kids and a golden retriever in the suburbs, right? So I had no idea. But, he took me under his wing and mentored me, and I learned a lot. And it was a very steep learning curve. And that was before I briefed the CI director. So by the time I briefed the CI director, I knew all this. Structure, let's call the structure of the secrecy. And I think that's the hardest thing for senators and congressmen to understand, or the general public. How's the structure? That a president will be told, we're not going to tell you, right? And a few presidents have quipped. I know that President Carter was at an event in Spain. I have a friend who was there, and he was asked, what was it like being the most powerful man in the world? And Mr. Carter said, I don't think I was that person. And they said, why? He said, there were things that as president I wasn't allowed to know about. and someone kind of giggling, joking, kind of making fun of it. Oh, you mean UFOs? And he said, yes, that and more.
Carter said this.
Carter said that, President Carter.
In an interview.
No, in a dinner after an event in Spain. But I have a man on my team who was there. So this is a real issue. This is a huge governance because you're talking unconstitutional. So let's cut to the chase here. These operations are illegal black projects, not legal. There are legal black projects that the president and the Gang of Eight in Congress oversee. But these are illegal, meaning there's no oversight, and they're being run as a criminal operation. And I'll just call it out. They are not only criminal, but they're treasonous because they absolutely will defy the chain of command. So here's a really good example. This correspondence is in the archive. There's a man who had been the head of the what's called J2, head of intelligence for the Joint Chiefs of Staff, J2, and Admiral Wilson.
Y'all ain't fell asleep on me up in here. Y'all good? Y'all need some uplifting? Come on, y'all. Y'all with me? Okay. Mac, I got your video, and I'm gonna figure out how to put it up here and give you some time, okay, for sure. Like and share at MacV Production, y'all. Shout out to MacV.
Memo leaked out a few years ago, not my doing. It was after astronaut Edgar
Thank
Mitchell,
you, Brown Looker. Love you.
the sixth man to walk on the moon. After he died, someone leaked this out of his archive because I had brought
Let me see.
Dr. Mitchell, astronaut Mitchell, to a briefing at the Pentagon that I was doing a stand-up briefing for Admiral Wilson. And Admiral Wilson was very sincerely wanting to find out about what was going on with this issue. So before the meeting, I sent him a secret document that has not been declassified, which is in the archive. By the way, this is different from the trouble the president's in with classified material. We declared all these projects unconstitutional and illegal in the 90s, documented it, and therefore I have in this archive classified top secret and secret documents for the public to see, and they have not been declassified. I'll just put that on the table. So this document, it was an NRO, National Reconnaissance Office, which runs all the super secret spy satellites, right? And it was from Area 51, Nellis Air Force Base in 1991. And they were warning of some civilians trying to spy on what was going on at that secret facility from some mountaintops overlooking the facility. So they'd have what was called a security alert. But in that document, which I acquired, I won't say how, it listed the project code names and numbers. And that's in the archive. Anyone on Earth can see it now, as of the 90s. So I sent this to Admiral Wilson, along with some other briefing material, and he made an inquiry. Now, remember, this is the head of intelligence for the Joint Chiefs of Staff, United States. And by the time I got to this meeting, he was scared to death and furious because he made inquiries through channels based on the information we had provided. And he discovered the offices and the compartmented operations dealing with the UFO matter. And he was flat out told, you don't have a need to know. And he said, I'm the head of intelligence for the Joint Chiefs of Staff. How do I not have a need to know? For God's sake? They said, we will not discuss this with you. When he pushed on it further, they threatened him. They also threatened with taking a star off his lapel, a demotion to retiring, where he would lose a big pay cut in retirement. So that is a fact.
Hard for the money.
The same thing happened to the head of the Defense Intelligence Agency. Google it. The Defense Intelligence Agency is like the CIA.
What he say? Google it, y'all.
The director, General Patrick Hughes, I spent hours briefing at the Pentagon.
You got me. Okay, baby, let me go.
And he made inquiries through channels.
Okay, I just responded to you, Matt.
Now,
if you're in
there have
this
been
chat.
people who have been read in those positions. Others haven't. Why do some CIA directors or J2 or whoever know and others don't? Well, we talked about it a moment ago. They're tapped early. They come up through the system and they're carrying water for this criminal operation.
Well, I had Woolsey on the podcast a few years ago.
Oh, he denies all this.
When I spoke to him, I said, so, what was your experience like as the director of CIA? He says, you realize I never met Bill Clinton. I said, what do you mean? He says, I never met the president. We never had a meeting. He never communicated with me. He says, I think I had one encounter was just like when I got appointed, or do you want the job or not? And that was it. There was no communication. And I think he was only the director of CIA for 2 years, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, maybe even less than 2 years.
About 2 years.
Can you look up the time? Yeah, it's less than 2 years when he was a director of CIA. So, to me, based on what you're saying, was he one that knew, or is he one that doesn't know anything? He's not at the levels of knowing what's really taking place.
Dude, have you heard about this device that can cool down rooms in a matter of minutes without using massive amounts of electricity like...
Right, y'all. I'm answering my emails, y'all.
I think later he...
Hey, I'm getting two things done in one, y'all. I'm gonna be good at this at one point, y'all. We all gonna be great.
Which is why he says very equivocal things about the issue. The same thing is true of Admiral Bobby Rand, who is probably at the top of the pyramid of this covert group keeping the secret. I'll tell you a very almost comical story.
Is he alive?
He was as of a few months ago.
So he's at the top of the pyramid.
He's very senior. Mr. Cheney, him, and a few other people.
Have you spoken to him? Have you had meetings with him?
I had. Have you ever heard of Senator Barry Goldwater? Well, he was hugely interested in what we were doing.
He was
Goldwater, and I went out to his place in Scottsdale. And
what year was that?
It was in the 90s. And he was friends with Admiral Inman. And so Senator Goldwater was always trying to find out about this. Even when he was running for president, he was, chairman of various committees in the Senate. And John McCain took his seat. So I'm sitting at his house, and Senator Goldwater, starts saying, well, I've given him all the information I have, and he tells me two very interesting things. He said, I was never briefed on this, even as the nominee for president or as the key members of the Senate Armed Services or Intel, never. He says, but I knew it was real because he was in World War II. Then he became a general reserve in the Air Force Reserve. When he was a general in the Air Force Reserve, he asked General Curtis LeMay. They used to call him bomb them back to the Stone Age LeMay because he was advocating using nuclear weapons in Vietnam, which is what actually cost Senator Goldwater the election in '64. But this is, of course, in the 90s, many years later. And Senator Goldwater says, look, I asked, he had heard that at Wright-Patterson Air Force Base, there was a name, he called it the Blue Room there. And he wanted to go there. And so he approached General LeMay, who I think at the time was Chief of Staff of the Air Force. And he says, I want to go there. And General LeMay turned to Senator Goldwater, and we're talking, and Senator Goldwater was told point blank by General LeMay that if he ever brought this issue up again, he would have him court-martialed out of the Air Force Reserves, and that he, General LeMay, could not even get into that area anymore. Now, so I said, here's a measure of the level of corruption and secrecy. Someone at that level of government, Senator Goldwater, conservative, Republican, pro-military, in the war, being denied access to this information. So, how many data points like that do you need? This is why I tell people, can I prove that these programs are unconstitutional, illegal? Absolutely, we can prove it. And so at that point, here's what really ought to happen. The Criminal Investigative Division of the Pentagon and the FBI should launch immediate criminal investigations into this. There's enough information.
Who these two?
Well, for domestic, it'd be FBI.
Okay. FBI is not going to do that.
Well,
not the correct.
I never say never. And the other would be the Criminal Investigative Division of the Pentagon, because there is enough proof of criminal activity and unconstitutional and treasonous activity to launch those. Now, this is what I've been saying to members of Congress in the last few years since they've started looking into this. I said, you guys are here rearranging the chairs on the Titanic as it goes down. You really need to understand and learn quickly that, you can make a request through the chain of command and you're going to be told nothing like Woolsey, nothing like General Hughes, DIE director, nothing like Admiral Wilson, and all the dozens of other people like that. And by the way, this pattern you can replicate in the United Kingdom, Australia, because I have had meetings with the Minister of Defense directors for Canada, Australia, and the United Kingdom. None of them were given access. And they all have told me, this never came, they were never told. And then subsequently, they would learn that, there are operations right under their nose that were deep black, illegal operations. So this pattern is a dangerous pattern in terms of governance, but also for world security, national security, and the future of the planet and humanity. There's nothing good that comes from that kind of corruption. And so at some point, some people with real courage are going to have to step up to the plate. Or, frankly, we're going to hell in a handbasket very quickly. But it's just we're not in a place where we can keep kicking this ball down the road. But that is typically what politicians want to do. They just want to kick the ball down the road. Like when the Admiral said, he says, I just want to retire from this command and retire at my place in Montana and go fishing. This is too much to take on. And this was a man who was the head of, in charge of CONUS, Continental United States Security. I hear that, I've heard all this for so many years, and this is why I'm very encouraged, actually, that this special access project has been stood up to protect whistleblowers, and that there are people defecting at a very high level from operational programs that are running these systems out in the Western Desert. And separate from that, there's an entire group of special forces guys that I've been meeting with who are asking to eventually get authorized to strike these facilities.
How did these people that are the powerful people that even Barry Goldwater couldn't get up to, and President Carter couldn't get up to? President Trump is asked the other day by Logan Paul about UFOs. His answer was very generic. This one man told me that there are things up there, but he wasn't really given the answer.
Well, no, because as one president said, I'm only the president. And that's true. I mean, it's like the comedy, but
they're only acting their position.
There are people I know who are very friendly. I actually met with Mr. Biden when he was chairman of Foreign Relations Committee back a long time ago, but he wouldn't touch this with a 10-foot pole. And
who is the most powerful person in America?
I don't think anybody would probably know their name. They're sort of behind the scenes, but certainly people on this committee, like Admiral Wilson. Now, here's the lineage. He was deputy director of CIA.
Let me say this right here. I just heard him say something about Admiral Wilson. See, when Trump was in office, it was said, okay, here we go. Now, y'all remember when Obama was in office? Oh, shit. I gotta go back. Dang. Y'all, I ain't political, okay? I don't do politics. I don't know nothing about what they be doing, but kind of keeping up with the things of what has happened and transpiring with his story, right, against my story, which they made a mystery. So just to be putting it together, when Daddy Bush died, somebody told me in the chat earlier that they don't remember the scenario. That's the Mandela effect. They put so many things, and it just we lose a lot of memory, okay? And that's something that they're doing throughout these devices, throughout the food, throughout all the technology, throughout all the things that they have implemented into our world, y'all. As Sister Navi, I think it was said up here earlier about the demon, Sister Sharon. You know, all this is allowed here. All of this is the devastation that's on us now, right? So here it is. These people, when Daddy Bush died, who was there and saw the funeral? See, because they did this funeral, and everybody was there. Donald Trump, was Donald Trump the president then? If I'm not mistaken, I think Donald Trump was the president. Y'all don't follow them too much, so don't get me wrong. Tell me, just help me remember, because I'm trying to help you remember these scenarios so we can put this together. Okay, we unpacking this, as they say. So when that man died, they all was at that funeral, and they all got a letter, so-called from the Secret Service, or somebody passed out a letter to every one of them when they came into that place where that man's funeral was. And the camera got their faces, a lot of them faces, when they looked at what was inside that envelope. I'm gonna have to pull that up, y'all, because it was weird. But they said that the son Bush, George, he said his read, they know. They know. Okay? And it was all about the fact that these generals, you just heard those generals, it was a bunch of generals, a bunch of high up, supposedly, because these are the people that they claim hired Trump. This is where my intel came in at some years ago. That these generals was the ones who hired Trump because of all of the child harvesting, bloodletting, and this stuff goes all the way back to Red Cross. What's that other one that people give donations to and they sell your stuff for a high price? Goodwill organizations, Boy Scouts, Girl Scouts. All of these was outlets to be able to get blood and bodies. I don't know what type of people we're dealing with, but it's something else, and I'm gonna let that go right now to another time to talk about that. But when you realize what you say, Sister Sharon, yep, they all are in the shit together. Absolutely. And when we realize that, that's what I'm saying. We got to fortify ourselves. We got to be the one to save ourselves. Ain't nobody coming by in the sky. I don't believe that no more. I used to, y'all. I ain't can't lie. I heard some bars in there, y'all. I be doing bars sometimes. Sometimes I write them down, y'all. Sometimes I write my bars down because I do hear them sometimes. But yeah, we ourselves got to be our own salvation. Yeah, Admiral Byrd. Yeah. So this is what we're about. We gotta save ourselves. We gotta figure out how and it was done. But that's why Trump gets the business that he gets, because he was working for a different cause than what these bloodthirsty pedophiles and all the likes of the wicked side. They have no righteousness in them. book that everybody refuses to read says that they are of their father, the devil. So I mean, I don't know what they eat or what their appetite is like, but I know it's been some wrong things done to the people in this land, and children, elders, and all. So, yeah, these people got, y'all finna discuss you right now. Unless you already know this, you might be a little disgusted. That old clown, they still, and see, when you look at that, they still got the people who's doing the detrimental to the earth, the land, to the land, which is the law, and to the air, and to the water. That's the whole law of the matter right there, land, air, and water, right? That's the law. And for these people to be so against everything that is life, that tells you they live with death. That right there, it don't take no rocket science to sit there and figure that out, that if they're against the world and the goodness of life, then hell, they reside with death. But they set us up to be the dead man and to rely in death. That's why I said black is dead in law. And they put on our clothes and became the richness of the land and made us dead to the land. So it's our responsibility to correct the paradigm so that things can be corrected and put back in place. Because right now it's a bad shift, y'all. It's a bad shift going on, and somebody got to do it. I'm just saying, somebody got to be those that are mastermindly figuring out that we got to be in place. Somebody got to be putting something in place so that when because shit ain't hit the fan like it gonna hit the fan. Because niggas still spending money having fun. But when niggas ain't got no money to spend and they can't have no more fun, and they see that this shit done fell in for real because they think it's a joke coming, that's when all hell gonna break loose. That's when they say the shit hit the fan, because it's gonna be some niggas gonna realize Walmart done closed up because they ain't put no food in the ground. They had all the time in the world. Go ahead, Brown Looker. Put them seeds in the ground. I got plenty of them for you too. And I see I want to give you some of them. But this is the stuff that we supposed to be doing together. Like they doing all that shit together against us. We supposed to be sitting around at the round table. But where's our people that doing that, y'all? That's all I'm trying to encourage y'all that we supposed to be doing. Do y'all hear me? I'm looking at this phone, talking to this phone, but that tablet way up there. I just gotta make sure y'all hear me. I mean, for real. We gotta save ourselves. Please, we gotta save ourselves. I hope y'all heard me.
Your gut contains good bacteria and bad. Benefiber effortlessly supports the good. Its plant-based prebiotic fiber nourishes good bacteria in your gut, working with your body to promote digestive health. With so many ways to enjoy, Benefiber is your fiber, your way. Bringing out the perfect event to turn your vision into reality.
Here we go, y'all.
The one step.
12% in America.
Thank you, guys. I appreciate that.
Yeah, they're sort of behind the scenes, but certainly people on this committee.
I gotta find this funeral. Watch this. I'm gonna find
here's the
funeral for us.
He was deputy director of CIA. Then he was the director of the National Security Agency. Then he moved on to the board of, wait for it, Science Applications International Corporation.
Who's this?
Admiral Bobby Randman.
Mhm.
So if you look at that, often there's a trajectory where they're brought in and brought up. But where they end up, the revolving door out of government and senior military intelligence, I keep seeing this pattern. The center of gravity are in these big contracting entities like SAIC and Raytheon and Northrop and Lockheed and so forth. So that's where the action is. I think the center of gravity isn't in the government at all.
Was Mr. Bush Sr. ever one of these high-ranking people that was on the inside, or no?
Oh, absolutely. George H.W. Bush?
Yes.
Yes. W, no. But George H.W. Bush, he was the one who threatened Bill Clinton. But stay quiet. There's none of your business. I have a witness to Mr. Clinton sharing that.
George H.W. Bush Sr.
Yes, it's none of your business, but out. Because Mr. Clinton had stood up what's called Red Team. Red Team was a military special operation the blue team was conventional military, black team were these illegal operations. Clinton had authorized, I have a whole document on this. It's not in the archive, but it's definitely in my Dead Man Trigger. That was called Red Team. And these were people trying to infiltrate these illegal black projects, but most of them either got absorbed or killed. And eventually,
been for 5
George
years
H.W.
since that
Bush said, back.
devil been dead.
This is
That's
none of your
not
business.
true, is it?
Did he?
Let me see.
Oh yeah, absolutely he did. That's why they became fast friends. And towards, remember?
Did he?
Let me
I
see
do.
what I'm
Did he
at.
ever make it? Was Bush ever in a top 5 most powerful men in America, or no? Was he still? There's people above
Check
him.
this out, y'all. This
Two.
is all
He would
just
have
talking
been on
about.
the upper level of that committee, 200-300 people. But George H.W. Bush was definitely involved. And I would say, ironically, Cheney more so. Mr. Cheney.
Cheney more so.
Yep.
Why is that?
Because of who he is. And
On the military-industrial complex, the money.
all the way back to the Ford defense secretary. I mean, all the way back to 70s, 80s. Yeah, absolutely.
How powerful was Kissinger? Was he anybody?
Very. Oh, yes.
Okay, above a Cheney?
Sure, absolutely.
So he was one of the 200.
Sure, yes. Mr. Kissinger.
He's been
yes.
there 7 years. Okay.
What's your opinion on him?
It's unfortunate. I mean, I think he's a very brilliant man, but, I think he moved us in a lot of corrupt directions and in harmful directions.
Such as?
This issue, for one, because, and I don't want to go too much. I mean, he's passed away. So it's irrelevant.
So talk about that dog.
But,
Talk about it.
yeah, I think he was very,
He did now.
thank you.
The children gotta pay.
Very interested in
Damn children gotta pay. Talk about it.
subverting American power.
We'll get our stuff back from his children.
So this is a pattern you see, and it's not that I'm against international relations or all that, but there is a concerted effort, in my opinion, to subvert and make subordinate American power and interest to some of these global schemes and agendas. And Kissinger was really one of the original architects of that. But because you can't take this UFO secrecy issue out of context with all of these other concerns, national security, world security, energy, financial. I mean, for heaven's sakes, the petrodollar, right, from Bretton Woods after World War II. The reserve currency of the world is the dollar, but it's mainly because it's the petrodollar. It's the currency of exchange.
They worry about currency now, right, y'all? Let's hear what they're gonna talk about this currency.
So this is all extremely complicated. You release this information that we're not only are we not alone in the universe, but we've already figured out how they operate. And I will tell you right now, the extraterrestrial issue part of this is nowhere near as sensitive a secret as the part that deals with the technologies that we have, humans have, in the hands of people who are misusing them and are withholding the beneficial ones from humanity and from the planet. That is a much bigger secret.
So far, when I asked you, Barry Goldwater,
Who y'all
he's
think
there,
them
he's
is?
not has Bobby Ray Inman. Okay, so Bobby Ray Inman has more influence than he does.
Oh, way more.
Then I went to President Clinton And you said, no, George H.W. Bush Sr. has more influence than he does. Great.
Yeah, he's passed away.
He's passed away. Yeah. Then I asked you about Kissinger, and no, then you said Dick Cheney was more powerful than
George.
Senior. Okay. Then I asked you Kissinger. You said no, Kissinger was more in that community of that influence.
And very global with it. And
For sure. I mean, yeah, and he had a very interesting reputation. Fascinating guy to study, by the way. Some of the things he said, the illegal we can do fast. The unconstitutional takes a while. Said something like that.
he did. It's actually in our archive, that quote. Yeah, no, he said, the illegal we can do immediately.
Yeah, no problem.
Unconstitutional takes a little longer.
Interesting guy. Very interesting guy. Womanizer, playboy, like.
So he was saying it takes a little longer to mess with the constitutional stuff, but they can do the illegal stuff easily. Y'all got that, right? Everything illegal. Ain't nothing constitutional.
From the last 70 years that we would know about.
The name you know.
How long we been
Right off the top of my head, I can't think of one. Certainly, some
My how time flies.
folks that
Time really be flying, y'all.
think of
Tillerson.
When you're having
would
fun.
be very powerful. Jack Welch, General Electric,
Jack Welch you would put ahead of.
very high up. Now, at a certain point, it's not a pecking order. They collaborate. And I think, what I understand, that committee collaborates and it sort of squabbles. But
Look at that devil right there.
Back in the early days, you used to talk about there were these documents that got released called Majestic 12.
All of them, they were, look at it.
If they're authentic or not. I think they are largely authentic. But what's not in dispute is this NRO document from the 90s, and one of the compartment operations
I'm
is
still on that half biological
MAJIC.
life situation.
And sometimes you'll see MAJIC. It stands for the Majority Joint Intelligence Committee. And that is the group that is a joint entity
Majestic 12.
on the U.S. end of this that deals with this subject. And that is in the document. You can pull it up. It's the National Reconnaissance Office document, Nellis Air Force Base, 1991.
So you pull up Majestic 12, Rob. I just wonder, is this Majestic 12, also known as Magic 12, is a organization representing UFO conspiracy theories. The organizations claim to be the code name of an alleged secret committee of scientists, military leaders, and government officials formed in 1947 by an executive order by President Harry Truman to facilitate recovery and investigation of alien spacecrafts. The concept originated in a series of supposedly leaked secret government documents, first circulated by ufologists in 1984.
Right.
Upon examination, the federal FBI declared the documents to be complete bogus, and many considered it to be hoax. Majestic 12 remains popular among some UFO conspiracy theorists and the
bogus, y'all.
popular culture, including television, film, and literature.
Here's what I think actually happened. If you want to hide something, you hide it in plain sight.
You heard him?
So a great deal of
Hide it
information
in
in this document
plain
is
sight.
true, but the way they came about was a hoax. So if you're involved with counterintelligence and information's coming out, you want to divert people to something that's the proven is going to be a problem.
Yeah.
And that way it takes them down. The National Security Agency guy described it to me this way. He was the right hand to General Odom back in the day, who was the director of the NSA. And he said, we call this a DDT operation. You set up a decoy, you distract people, and then you trash them.
DDT.
And so by releasing things that are questionable,
distract, and trash.
then it can, you sort of put it out there.
Yo, you think we need to put that in our playbook?
But because the proven
DDT.
it takes the information down with it. So one of the things that's very complicated is understanding how counterintelligence and disinformation works. It's Byzantine. It's complicated. It takes a lot to unravel it. And that's why I tend to be very careful with both witnesses and documents. If I don't have a good proven so, I mean, that is something that's hard to do when you're trying to run an operation like we do without any, real clearance. I mean, you have to rely on people and their credibility and what documentation they can prove. And I think what's most important, the reason I'm releasing this archive, is that if you go through it carefully, you see where the dots all connect. But
That's what we need to know, where the dots connect.
We call these intelligence modules. When those get put in, it's going to connect all these dots. And that's a big undertaking that we're working on right now.
Jamie Dimon, where do you put him? Is Jamie Dimon a person all the way at the top or not really?
I wouldn't know. I don't know anything about him.
You don't know anything
I
about
have
him.
no information on
You
him.
know, what do you
don't
think
know
about
him. He ain't
Elon
nobody,
Musk?
but he
What
was
is
in to
like?
know
Nikola
everybody.
Tesla, is he a good guy and you're right? Is he somebody that, you know, the establishment can't stand? Is he someone they can't control? What,
Another commercial. They don't want you to get this.
To find payments I already make, like insurance, streaming.
Well, I think that certainly if he was inclined to research this end of it, he wouldn't be making I call it a fake Tesla. I mean, a real Tesla car wouldn't have to be plugged in. It most certainly wouldn't have 900 and some pounds of lithium-ion batteries.
Wow.
It would be an electromagnetic generation. If you look at this archive, we have this whole account of this inventor named Floyd Sweet. He had something the size a little bit bigger than a cigarette pack. And then this was back in the 80s. And we have all the documentation on this. Huge files on it. And it was running a 300 horsepower motor that could run your car. And it never had to be plugged in. I think the battery startup was
Wow, look at that.
Battery. You know. And once that circuit
It's
started,
amazing the things
it
that
was
they
pulling
stole.
energy out of what's called the quantum vacuum. Some people call it the zero-point energy field. But let's describe what that is. You see your tea glass there, that mug.
Mhm.
The amount of potential energy in the space in that mug is enough energy to boil off all the oceans of the Earth. It's been
What?
quantified. And that's
That's
called the
deep.
zero-point energy field. So if you understand the physics of these very high voltage, VHV, we call them very high voltage systems, where it's certain, it may be millions of volts, but at very low power, but at certain cycles per second, certain frequencies, you can tap into that. Depends on what material you're using.
to the average, explain 0-point energy to the average person.
Well, so visualize the space around you, and everything around you. If you get down to, by classic definition, it's the energy left after even all subatomic particles have been brought down to minus 270 some degrees Kelvin. But there's still this energy field that's the baseline energy field that all of matter, space, time, subatomic particles are fluxing in and out of. And interestingly, the early Lockheed man-made UFOs were called flux liners.
Man-made UFO.
So that's basically it. And it's huge. I mean, I think Nikola Tesla called it the infinite energy field. And Professor Dirac, and modestly called it the Dirac-C. But a scientist named Dr. Casimir, Casimir, back in the 30s postulated this, but then proved its existence in the 50s, another important date. And it's called the Casimir effect. The scientific information on that is also in this intelligence archive. So, I wasn't even born when Professor Casimir proved the existence. Now, what's debated amongst scientists currently is that you can tap into it from a practical point of view, but you can. And the proof is, what the proof is? Look at one of those UFOs moving. No jets, no rockets, no internal combustion engines, no nuclear, no heat signature. In fact, when you get those things operational, temperature actually goes down. If you're in a hangar with 2 or 3 of these things hovering, like we have the pictures in our archive of what's called the ARV there at the Norton Air Force Base in 1988, it actually is like an air conditioning. It cooled it down. So not only do you not have heat coming off of it, it actually pulls temperature down somewhat. And so there's so many applications of these sciences. I mean, think about it. It'd be free energy, refrigeration, cooling server farms, if you're concerned about climate change for whatever reason. But even people who don't think there's climate change due to pollution, there's 5+ million people a year die from particles, from emissions. coal and gas and oil, and not to mention radiation causing cancer from nuclear. And all of that would be replaced. So all that's gone. Now, that's the good news. The bad news is you're stepping on the toes of hundreds of trillions of dollars in assets. Not just the market cap of these big corporations, but the commodities. Think of what's traded on the Chicago Board of Trade. Just in futures and commodities trading, it's trillions. So all of that, you're not trading commodities
I'm
anymore.
surprised you're not studying much of Jamie Dimon or Larry Fink or BlackRock or some of these guys, because who is funding all these programs? Where are they getting the money from?
Oh yeah, well Goldman Sachs and BlackRock definitely have involvement with these operations, and the more current people who are involved, the more it's shadowy. But when people get older or pass away, then they start talking. Let me give you a great example. After World War II, at the end of the war, there was a man named Paul Mellon, who was, the Mellon, Carnegie, the Mellon family, one of the few billionaires in the world in World War II. His grandson has worked with me, who was also a senator, John Warner's son. And Senator John Warner was like a low-level operative on this majority, yes. And so Paul Mellon, he went over and at the end of World War II with General Patton and Allen Dulles, and they confiscated this disk that was an early attempt to make an electromagnetic anti-gravity thing. It wasn't fully operational, but they brought it back to the United States. And how do we know this? Because towards the end of his life, Paul Mellon, who was very instrumental with Allen Dulles in forming the CIA and all that stuff. Remember, the OSS became the CIA, the OSS from World War II. And when he was getting older, he had a couple martinis and told his grandson, John Warner IV, that in fact he had gone over there and brought this thing back. And that it was not one of the jet rocket thrusters, it was electromagnetic and anti-gravity. And so, that we're talking now the end of World War II in Germany in 1945. So that is something. What you find is that as some of these folks get older, before they meet their maker, as it were, they start telling things to me or to other family members who didn't share it. So that's, a pattern that in terms of, I have debriefed, if you look at this list, there's 760 whistleblowers and witnesses, but I've met with more. Some of them I never quite get their name. There's probably over 1,000, but all the people on that list I've debriefed. Over 34 years. So I carry that in my head, which is why I'm trying to put some of this down, in case something happens to me.
Which president have you had direct contact with, you spoke to, that is interested in this?
I've never spoken directly with any of the presidents. Only people who've been on their cabinet or people who have been like the CIA director or people work with them. No, I've never met with any of them directly. All have been asked to.
Any of the recent, who's the most recent, most powerful people you've spoken to that's reached out to you?
Oh, I think by far this former chairman of this Fortune 50 company. He's holding all the cards.
Is he respected by a lot of people? Is he somebody that has a reputation?
Oh yes, he would be. Yeah, he
would be. So okay, as a president, you get to campaign. You're done. Okay, I'm going to run for president 2024. I'm campaigning for human rights. We're going to fix the border. We're going to go. Climate change is the number one issue, and the economy is stupid. And then we're going to focus on all this stuff, right? All these things that they say they campaign on. Okay, great. What's the riskiest thing to campaign on? Let me kind of give you a couple of them, and you tell me. Okay, one. Here's what my campaign is going to be. Why is that only 2 countries in the world allow big pharma to advertise on TV? Us and New Zealand. Why are all the other countries not allowing that to happen? If you help me become president, day one executive order, big pharma will not be able to advertise on TV, just like cigarette and tobacco companies cannot. Okay? There's a lot of risk with that. Okay, you're going after a lot of strong people, right?
Oh, yeah.
Number two, you as your president, I think one of the things that you as a taxpayer are owed the truth. And I think this government in the recent years, we used to be an open source type of a country when Washington and all the guys ran it. Today, we are no longer open source. If you help me become president, I'm going to release all the 6,000 patents in the Invention Secrecy Act of 1951, and I want to make sure you know all about it. And it's going to help a lot of you guys. You're going to save money on electricity. You're going to save money on oil, and cars are going to be able to run on this because it's going to help us with this, and it's going to help us with pollution. And we're no longer going to deal with poverty worldwide. It's never. You help me. I'm going to make sure all that becomes public. Okay. You help me become president. I'm going to give the truth of what happened with CIA, and I'm going to release the last 15% of the information to know who assassinated John F. Kennedy. You help me become president. All of these things are going. What is the riskiest one for your life that if you say you're going to do that, ain't nobody going to help you, and it's the riskiest position to take?
Well, I think in terms of your own personal security, it'd probably be this issue, the UFO and the UAP issue.
Why though? Why would that be?
Because behind it is the whole center of power that's running the planet, the technology. Because if that comes out, all of it's coming out. Look, anybody with a grain of sense, if and this is where we're getting really close, like when the Pentagon confirmed that UAP that we chased off the coast of California was real and three-dimensional and not an artifact or a misperception, broad daylight. What they admitted to without saying it is that there's something that's there that's three-dimensional and real that is absolutely defying the aerodynamics and energy of anything known by the public. Now, not known to man, and certainly not known to these clandestine programs. But so going into that, then you're also, here's the other big.
Okay, let's see where we at right here, y'all.
The only reason this could have been kept secret is that the big corporate media, left, right, center, all of it is corrupt. There's a whole section.
We know that too, don't we, y'all?
Absolutely corrupt.
We absolutely know that.
The proof of it is, why would they, given what we've already put on the street and had press conferences around, and right here, 122 named whistleblowers.
Okay, we down to 3 people watching now. Okay, y'all.
Fox,
and we've been here what?
NBC, New York Times,
3 hours?
Post.
Okay, y'all. We're going to end this live because I'm going to come back later on, y'all. What? But y'all got the...
is actually the most...
Let me see. Y'all got the gist of this, I'm sure.
Because the court...
That's what it's about.
Which is what the media is supposed to be a watchdog against these excesses of the government and abuses of power. And we're talking the biggest abuse of power in my lifetime. And
biggest abuse of power, y'all.
Why wouldn't there be investigations?
Come on.
So let me tell you a little story. It's apocryphal. But Mike Wallace was a famous
y'all.
reporter for 60 Minutes on CBS.
It ain't but what?
His name is Bob Schwartz.
3 of y'all in here with me now.
Time Life.
And what we're gonna do? We're gonna end this live.
Meeting in New York back in the 90s.
Go get something to eat.
And Mr. Schwartz told me about how Mike Wallace.
Yeah, go get something to eat and come back a little later on with some more stuff. How about that, y'all?
This is the biggest story in history.
Sounds like a plan.
Secret in U.S. history.
Sound like a plan, y'all. How about that? Let's do it.
The time,
so,
Westinghouse, the defense
y'all, see y'all in a minute. Y'all go check out this video. I'm going to get Kel set up because we're going to go into some more stuff this evening, okay? Much love to you.
He became suicidal because he realized he was a fraud. He used that word. Now, he didn't tell this part of the story.